see everybody's comments. And this time I won't cancel the window. It took me a minute last night to get the window back. It just disappeared. Welcome back to the program. Mr. Chris, live in Central Texas, not Central Pennsylvania, just north of Dallas, where we had the meet and greet yesterday. I'm just about 10 minutes from that location. And I got two guests with me who are recent arrivals in the Lone Star State from South Africa, part of the refugee program. Got Ross and his lovely wife, Letticha. Behave yourselves, gentlemen. Behave yourselves. Yeah.
She is spoken for.
Right? Exactly, and he's a big dude, so I would mess around. Anyway, but they've come here and they said they're willing to do an interview, and so we're doing this as the first in Texas interview that I've done.
That's
pretty cool. Well, yeah. Well, thank you. It's a privilege to chat with you. So a little background here, Lily. When I put this trip together, Lily said, "Yeah, I got a musician who said he's willing to play." And I said, "What kind of music do you play?" I assumed she was like talking about Afrikaans music, maybe somebody had been living in Texas for a long time. And she said, "Yeah, no, he sings country." And I didn't say anything. I'm like, "I don't need a country singer. I mean, we're bringing South Africans. Can we get somebody?" I didn't say this to her. And I got so busy and I said, "Okay, that's fine. He can come." And the plan was to play some of my AI music in a broadcast, and then whoever the performer was could perform afterwards. And so she sent me your number just before I came down, and I didn't have time to address it. You came, you introduced yourself, and I realized, oh, he's an F de Bois. So I mean, that's okay, that's good. And then we talked about how you play, and then you started singing. I'm like, oh man, no, this guy's got to be here. So, and then apparently, did you actually sing together?
Yes, we did.
I missed that. I must have gone out back to record or something. Yeah. But you did the Francois van Kolk and Karen Zoid song, which yeah. I love that song. I really love the video because all the clocks, it's kind of weird. What's it? Pretensie, what's the line?
Geen pretensie, geen beheer.
Yeah, that's the line. Geen pretensie. Oh, that's I love that line. But yeah, it's just fantastic. So he performed, well, they performed yesterday. He did most of the work. She did the song. Yeah. But I didn't get to hear her sing, but I can tell you this guy can sing. And I'm not just, blowing smoke up his cowboy hat. This is true. I was really, really impressed. And so we're talking about trying to get Steve back over here on a tour sometime, because it's been a long time since he's been in the States. I don't know if Steve will be able to come over or not. I've talked to him about it a couple of times, but if he does, I don't know if he's going to have local folks be opening acts or build-up bands. But maybe we can get him up on the stage for that. But in the meantime, they want to talk about their experience as refugees. So you'll forgive me if I put on my grandpa glasses here, because I can't read the text from all the way over here, and I'm going to try to keep up with it. But okay, guys. He's actually got some notes, and he also wants to say a few things, and they wanted to start this interview with a little respect to God, I believe.
Yes, sir. So before we departed South Africa, we went about greeting family members and saying goodbyes, because it is a semi-permanent thing. You don't know if things will ever improve to the point where we can actually go back. And yeah, saying goodbye to family has been real and
hard.
It's very hard.
We'll get to the hard part.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, no one ever wants to leave their ancestral homeland. And I'll get into a bit of the history, but my family's been in South Africa since 1658.
Wow.
6 years after the unfounded.
But I have you beaten. My family's been in America since 1621.
Oh.
You guys are just pikers.
Yes, sir. But that's 260 plus years of us in South Africa, and it's something I'm immensely proud of. And leaving that behind, you don't just do it lightly. And we'll talk about everyone's why, because you know.
Sorry to interrupt you. Is one of you go by the name Bozy or something like
Bozy,
that?
that's me. Yeah.
Yes.
Someone just said hi. It's Sana Klote.
That's my aunt.
Hey,
Sana.
Hey, Tani.
Tani Sana. That's awesome.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just saw that.
I appreciate
but
that.
sometimes people do that. They're not real. They're just trying to get attention. But that's your time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, absolutely. So my granddad, actually, he's 90 years old. My mom's dad, Sana's dad.
Okay.
He left us with the Lord, Psalms 23. Mm-hmm. And it's been a pillar of strength in our family for many years, as long as I can remember.
Okay.
And coming to the States, we went through some job interviews and all that. And the Afrikaans guy that was here, probably now going on 25 years, he shared another Psalms with us, 121. And I just
But before you start, I just want to make I want to hear it. So I need a thumbs up from the audience, because he sings plenty loud, but he's talking very subdued at the moment. Also, we've got his microphone under the lovely locks there, so I just know it's fine. I just want to make sure that if you guys are hearing any like shh, shh as he moves. So just let me know if you can hear Buzzy well. Is that how I pronounce it, Buzzy?
Bozzy?
Well, Bozzy. So can you hear Bozzy fine? Okay, you can hear him great. Okay, great. All right, so thank you for the thumbs up. See, that's why we have to interact. This is called audience interaction.
Awesome.
But we need that because
it's a first for me. So.
well, because we don't know what they're hearing or not hearing.
We need to practice that because he has to do that as well.
Yeah.
To be.
Well, I mean, so here's a little trick to the trade too. So if he's on stage doing something and it's being broadcast, just pull up the broadcast on your phone and make sure the sound's coming out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Away from the microphone,
That's
though.
right.
Otherwise, you get the feedback. All right, so please, you wanted to say the psalm.
So a wise gentleman shared with me, and he said, make this part of your day, morning and night for the next 21 days, and it'll be a part of your life as long as you live.
Okay.
Right? And Psalms 121 in Afrikaans, op pad, 'n bedevaartslied. Ek slaan my oë op na die berge. Waar sal my hulp vandaan kom? My hulp is van die Here wat hemel en aarde gemaak het. Hy kan jou voet nie laat wankel nie. Jou bewaarder kan nie sluimer nie. Kyk, die bewaarder van Israel slaap en sluimer nie. Die Here is jou bewaarder. Die Here is jou skaduwee aan jou regterhand. Die son sal jou bedags nie steek nie, en die maan ook nie by nag nie. Die Here sal jou bewaar vir elke onheil. Jou siel sal hy bewaar. En die Here sal jou uitgang en jou ingang bewaar van nou tot in ewigheid. So I'd like to do that in English as well.
I have to say I'm a bit rusty on my Bible verses. I don't remember any of the phrases being that long. That's a long segment.
So Psalms, that's the entire.
It's the entire Psalms. That's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I heard correctly, I mean, I because I have to listen to the Afrikaans, but I think I turned my ear towards the mountains. Did you hear the mountains?
Yeah. My
okay.
eyes.
Oh, eyes. I was. Yeah. Okay.
I'll do it in the King James version.
Please do.
I lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. And the Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul, and the Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth, and even forevermore.
Amen.
And amen.
Amen.
It's been a source of inspiration and upliftment and strength for us over the last it's been pretty much 3 weeks on the day now. And it is something worthwhile, and I'd like to share it with all of you, and keep faith, because his timing is never your timing, and the wait and the agony of waiting is real, but real breakthroughs only come after a proper test to make sure that it is something that you really wanted, and that the timing is his timing, and that is provident. So yeah,
It was meant to be. Kismet, in some respects, people say. So I just want to greet Dan and Bailey, our cowboy action shooters, since we got these new cowboys here and cowgirls in Texas. But Dan is up there in my favorite place, Wyoming. Dan, I know each other going back several years when I went out there in, what was it, 2020? It must have been 2026 years now. I know Dan. We've interviewed him a few times on the channel. He and his father are those cowboy action shooters. They have the revolvers, and they shoot at targets and stuff. We got to do that when I went to Wyoming.
are you a quick draw?
I was a quick draw, but that doesn't mean I hit the target.
Yeah.
Actually, I was pretty good, but I actually had trouble with one of the weapons because it was just a bit odd for me, and I missed like the first 4 shots, and then I hit everything after it. I didn't adjust, my eye to it for initially, and your time. So, but the cowboy action shooting is kind of a cool thing. It's done all over the country, but it's more popular in the West.
I wouldn't mess with those oaks. They are quick draws.
Oh yeah, and they hit the target, unlike I did. But I got better after. I mean, I did very well with the rifles and such. So.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I have to say that, it is inspirational. And I will admit that it was a lot easier for me to keep up in English than it was in Afrikaans. But no, when I hear Talon, I think of that song from Fierwerke. They had that song a few years back. You know, the artists who got together, I think Liesl Peters and a few others made this group called Fierwerke. For whatever.
Joshua Nadirian maybe was also part of
I
that?
think so, yeah. But they did this one song, and like you're my soul or something like that. The video was incredible. Anyway, I digress, but he's in music, so I thought I'd mention it. So okay, so when did you guys first hear about this refugee program?
So actually, yesterday was, as you mentioned, at the Lone Star meet and greet. That was the 1-year anniversary of the day on which President Trump #45, #47, and #48.
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
Signed his executive order addressing the egregious actions of the government of South Africa, the communist government that we have there in South Africa. And I think it was on the 7th that I got your broadcast on that.
You actually were one of the people watching that live. I did.
Sir.
So you were up after midnight to watch that. Wow.
So I
mean, there were 38,000. Don't feel special. There were 38,000 people tuned in. But
I've been following you for a while, and
were you following me before the refugee program?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, cool.
With some of the rugby stuff that you did, because I kind of like seeing what Americans think about rugby, and I must say that you are one of the most knowledgeable rugby minds that I've come across outside of South Africa.
Thank you.
And I don't rate much of Europe too highly on rugby knowledge. They're not from the Southern Hemisphere.
Or performance.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk to Ireland.
Oops.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. So I saw the news, and I followed President Trump since his inauguration in his second term, and was very keen to see what change he can bring as the last bastion of hope for the Western civilization, in contradiction to what the mainstream news, Bravo Sierra, would have people believe. So I heard about the program on the 7th and followed yourself, and when Professor
So did you catch President Trump's truth posts, truth social posts before you watched me, or did you catch me? Which was? Do you recall?
I have to think.
You have to think about that. No, I'm just curious because it was only 2 hours after he did it that I actually went live.
Yeah, and you're so fast breaking news that on the day of the 12th of May, so between the 7th of Feb and the 12th of May, we really followed this announcement.
But you didn't do a PRM email.
I thought about doing it, but I did not.
You never did. Okay. I know because for the timeline.
Drafted, but I didn't
you never
send
sent it. Okay.
But then, as yourself and Professor G, Evan, thank you for all that you do, and thank you, sir, for all that you do, and obviously thank you, President Trump, for what you've done. Yeah, it's amazing.
We wouldn't be talking about this. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Trump. So
we were following along, and on the 12th of May, when your broadcast hit,
when I was at Wimpy at OR Tambo.
Yes, sir. Within an hour, our statements of interest were submitted.
Wow.
Because we'd already made up our minds long before then that if something like this would ever be available, it's the first thing.
And that's technically when the process really kind of started. The PRM email was just kind of a feeler before that. And even the statement of interest was really exactly that. It was a statement of interest. It wasn't an application to come to America.
That's why I said I didn't apply for it.
Right, yeah.
I submitted our statement of interest.
Well, I mean, yesterday a number of the refugees kept saying I applied, and I didn't correct
them. You can't apply for it.
So. Right. Well, now you can with the intake questionnaire. That's essentially an application because all the information you fill out in the intake questionnaire are questions they're going to ask of you in screening. And now we've cut the screening time down considerably and more people can be processed and they have more information so that they, from that moment, can start your background investigation.
Excellent.
In the past, they wouldn't be able to do that until they'd done a screening and then they have to write it all down and mistakes can be made. This way, if there's a mistake, it's on you. And then we ask you if you're lying.
Yeah. And don't lie. Never lie.
Yeah, never lie.
The guys doing the background checks know more about you than you can ever know. So
I've been telling people that for a year, and some people don't believe me, but every refugee that's ever talking about their background investigation afterwards said, without revealing what was said, and they know a lot about me. I didn't know that anybody knew that about me. In fact, I forgot about it. And so
even some employment that someone had that was never formal employment.
Yeah.
That wasn't on record, never had a paycheck.
Yeah.
They knew about that employment.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And for someone in the music industry, that could be problematic because you might do a gig at a place and you did it like 3 weeks in a row and they said, well, you worked there. No, I just was performing there. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to interrupt here because we run a real risk. Ross loves to talk and so do I. But Letticha's here with us. So we're going to jump in and I'm going to ask her a question so he doesn't we don't steal all the oxygen room. So did you guys talk this over between February 7th and May 12th before you put the statement of interest in?
Well, he mentioned it to me, and I just agreed and said like, well, why not? Let's
That was easy.
let's take the chance and see what happens. I didn't have any concerns or
Worries about
worries
it.
about it. I just said, okay, let's try and see what happens, because we actually played the green card lotto for 3 years.
Yeah.
So
And that's what it is. It's like playing the lotto.
Yeah.
our initial plan was always to come to South Africa,
Right, to- yes.
to America,
Yeah, yeah.
and it finally happened.
Okay.
Our prayers were answered, and everything.
Okay. Well,
worked out as it should.
without getting any details, because we don't really want to get into that, but some people will hear this interview now and go, oh, well, they were always intending to immigrate, so they just took advantage of this refugee program. Did you, either or both of you, suffer from some form of persecution in the past that led you to this decision? You don't have to elaborate. I'm just curious if you did.
Yes, so his family actually went through
Quite a lot, yeah.
Quite
Quite a lot.
of
Okay.
persecution.
If we get to that later on, we will. I don't want to get into it right now. But I just want to make that up front, because they're going to be the Farayas that come on and go, oh, see, they're just economic migrants.
Nope.
Yeah. But the thing is that if they were economic migrants, they wouldn't have been approved, because the government is confirming that they have past persecution or genuine fear of future persecution. Did you talk about that at all when you were interviewed about, worried about the future? No, let her answer.
Sorry.
So I wasn't specifically interviewed as
Okay.
he was the main applicant.
Okay. So you didn't even have to be there.
I didn't have to be in. So I went into the interview. They asked me a few background questions,
Okay.
but not go into deep detail on what is my past persecutions or future.
Okay. Because he was the main applicant.
Yes.
Well, and that's important because sometimes they expect the whole family to be there. And
Everyone
kids-
has to be there.
Yeah, but well, I guess then not sometimes all the time, but it's important to know that you weren't asked questions. So I'll get back to you in a second there, Roz, but so you did it on the 12th of May, right out of the gate. So you're one of the first. When were you first contacted?
In
15
August.
August.
August. So
Yes.
June, July, 90 days before they even got anyone even contacted. Was that an email or a phone call?
We got a phone call from the US Embassy in Pretoria on the 15th of August.
Well, at least the number was from the embassy. Was it a
It was a
Kenyan?
+1 number. And
Oh, so it's from the US and they
on
route.
Truecaller it said US Embassy. So
Okay.
they were calling out of Pretoria, but from an American number, which I don't know how they routed that.
It's. I used to work communications, not hard. They do the Kenyan. Some of the Kenyan calls get routed, and they have South African prefixes on, like +27. So people are confused when they hear a Kenyan accent. So, but anyway, so okay, so who was it? RSC or was it the Amerikaners or was it the Americans?
US Embassy was our first contact, and they informed me that we would be receiving an email from RSC Africa,
Okay.
and that we should expect a call from Kenya. There's a +54 number.
I love how the Anglophone world says Kenya.
Kenya, yeah.
Like quinoa.
Totally.
I always love that. So the Brits, they're the ones that spread that around. Okay, so, excuse me, he's worried about his cough. I might get some buildup here. So 90 days before you heard anything. Did it pick up very quickly after that, Ross?
Yes, sir. Got the call on Monday, got the email on Tuesday saying expect calls from the +54. They gave us 5
Right,
numbers
which is
for RSC
the
Africa.
254. Plus two,
Yeah,
yeah.
+254. And then we'd already been waiting in silence, and waiting is part of the process. You have to accept that.
Yeah.
And if your why isn't strong enough, the wait will be hell.
Yeah.
And yeah, so following the first call from Kenya, it was to do a pre-screening interview and capture facts that would.
Was
then
that
later
done
go
by
into the USCIS.
telephone or Teams or something like that?
We still had telephone calls.
At that time. Okay,
Yes.
because the process changes frequently. That's
It does.
something we want to get across here is that there was a proof of concept for the 59ers, and this is in-country refugee states, which the government doesn't do very often, so they're kind of reinventing the wheel in some respects. And as the program matures, it's become, in some respects, more efficient, or at least more streamlined. Whether it's more efficient is a debatable topic, but certainly more streamlined. Okay, so you did the phone call. All right, so that was May 12th, then August 15th, and you came in December or
Yes.
January?
Yeah, no, we landed in the States on the 18th of December. We were the last flight out
Wow.
before the
Happy
Christmas break. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We had Christmas 1 week into our arrival into the States.
So did you have a tree or did you put some branches together for a Christmas tree?
So we actually did have a tree, but it was also very unexpected. We took an Uber to Guitar Center to buy a speaker, and the Uber lady that picked us up,
Our angel from California.
yeah, she started talking to us, and obviously she heard our accents are very different. And we mentioned to her that we aren't refugees and we are very new in the States. And she said, "Oh, I have stuff that I want to give away, and I'm going to give it to Goodwill and all that. And we're like, oh, okay, not expecting to take it from her. And when she dropped some of the stuff off at our apartment, she said, but I have a Christmas tree too.
Oh my goodness.
And she gave us a Christmas tree with a few decorations and everything. So that was so lovely. A few days before Christmas, I can actually put up a Christmas tree.
So you had a tree.
I had a tree.
She gave us silverware.
Yeah.
She gave us decorative paintings for the walls, a full bed furniture set, sleigh bed, side jewelry case, nightstand, and a wardrobe, which she was going to donate. But she said, but I'm going to donate it, so you might just as well have it. Yeah, Kathleen, if you ever see this, thank
you so much.
You are an angel. And we found that with all the people we've met so far in Texas. We haven't been outside of state yet. People are super friendly and they want to help. If you come with the attitude of gratitude and be humble and patient, good things will come your way.
Wow, that's amazing. So early on, when I was in the Army, I first moved off the post. I didn't buy trees because I didn't have much money, but I would go to tree lots and pick up the branches that were discarded. I'd put them in a flower vase and then put the decorations on the branches. It worked. It was a tree. Yeah. So I'm always curious about Christmas Day. Of course, my birthday is Christmas Day, so it's.
You make a good farmer, sir, because a boer maak 'n plan, you know. And
well, I was a farmer. I was a dairy farmer. We had Jerseys and Guernseys and a couple Holsteins, and then we had horses and pigs and ducks and turkeys and rabbits and.
Sounds pretty much like where we grew up.
Sounds like the dream.
Okay, well, I don't know if it's a dream. Yeah, I wouldn't trade that portion of my childhood, which was one of the better portions of my childhood, for anything, because of the experience of being on the farm.
Yeah.
But being a farmer is not an easy life. It's difficult, you know, especially
It's
dairy
a calling.
farmer. It's what?
It's a calling.
It is a calling. It's not simply a vocation. And the thing is that being a dairy farmer is the worst in many respects because you don't get a day off.
Yeah.
It's 7 days a week. And with the cattle we had, you milk cows in the morning and night, so it's twice a day.
Twice a day, every
So
day.
I mean, every morning I was milking cows at 5 o'clock, and then at 5:30 in the evening.
My
So
dad had the same childhood, exactly.
so to milk a cow at 5 o'clock, that means that you're out of bed by 4:30 at the latest, which is not bad in the summertime. But come winter, when there's a meter and a half of snow outside,
Not that much fun.
and the milk house is ice cold, and you have to go out and put the wood in the stove because this is old school. Put the blocks of wood in there, light the fire, and the damn thing doesn't start to even burn until 10 minutes before the cows come in. And then they come in, and you gotta warm up the surge. You got surge suppressor compressor to do the pumping. But then you put those cups on their teats, and you got to warm them up. You can't just stick them on there. You get kicked by the cow. You'll have a fright, and you'll have a bruise on your thigh because they don't like that. But it's not an easy life and farming, but it is definitely calling it. It's for me. Farming taught me the value of hard work.
Absolutely.
And the need to get things accomplished, and you do things in a fashion that makes sure you check everything. Because you can't leave anything to chance. You make a mistake, then the cows get sick, you get mastitis, or the calves get scours. So anyway.
If you don't do it, no one will.
Well, that's the other part of it too.
Yeah.
But you can see I'm not a dairy farmer today. Excuse me, nothing wrong with it, but it's definitely a calling, and I have no regrets. I enjoyed it. Okay, so for you guys, it sounds like you've had a pretty good experience thus far, but there's got to be a bump along the road. Letticha, you got anything? Letticha, is something? I mean, obviously, most people say the wait was tough.
The waiting is tough because you cannot get in contact with CWS.
No, you can write them an email and they're not going to respond.
You cannot get in contact with them to get any process update on your case. So we went through the process, and after the medicals, we waited.
We got our flight tickets on the 16th of September. We were due to fly on the 7th of October.
And you're only in that group that had their tickets canceled because of the shutdown.
Yes.
Yeah, and we did the medicals on the 2nd of September.
So they almost, well, you came in December, so that wasn't quite about expiring.
We had a slight delay because our fingerprints wasn't done on the first interview as it should have been. So we had to do that through a third party.
Sure.
But yeah, we 2 weeks after our final hurdle, if you want to call it that, was getting the flight tickets. Then I resigned, stopped work at the 30th of September, and we were due to fly out on the 7th of October. So we had a bit of a road trip saying goodbye to special people.
And then you didn't go anywhere.
On the 3rd of October, we got an email
saying that our flight tickets were cancelled.
So I'd already left my job.
Yeah.
Now, we only then we started following the shutdown every single day, praying, can it end today? Can it end today? Can it end today? Finally, by the 10th of December, we got our contact again via email with new flight tickets for the 17th of December. And then we actually were praying that we heard from you and Professor G that they might be stopping on the 15th. And we're like, we can't do this again.
Go
we were
all that waiting again.
Paused for months.
Well, they did stop, but you were like the last flight.
We were the last flight out.
Yeah. And my prediction was pretty close. I said the 15th roughly until
in the
the
week
5th.
of the 15th.
Yeah. Well, actually, originally I said the week of the 15th. Yeah, I didn't. You're right. I didn't specifically say the 15th because I didn't know when it's going to be.
But that kind of made us, anxious again. And angst is real, but that's part of waiting. And if your why is strong enough, you can wait it out.
Yeah. And the day before we were supposed to fly, the 16th, there was a raid at the at the get together, and all those refugees flights got cancelled, and then we started panicking again
because we need to fly tomorrow.
Actually, the next day, so we started driving to the airport, just like hoping that the plane will still be there.
So your timeline wasn't very long, actually, but it's probably what one should expect for normal, I would say, if we had normal circumstances. But you did have undue stress because of the shutdown and then the raid on Woodmead.
Yeah, and my company has policies in place that if I had left the company as a white guy, they couldn't re-employ me even if I just wanted to stay on in my post because I'd already resigned.
Yeah, because you'd be a new hire and BEE won't allow that.
Yeah, so then it starts getting real.
When we received the first flight tickets, we moved out of our house because we have the flight tickets. We sold almost everything. We left
and gave half of it away
because we are about to fly on the 7th of October.
Exactly.
And when that didn't fall through, we moved in with his parents, trying to get the house to sell or rent out.
It's still not rented or sold.
It's still not rented or sold. We still have that liability in South Africa. And the money that we tried to save from selling all the stuff that we could have sold, we had to use that to sustain ourselves
and keep a living
for the next few months. And then the money started getting less and less and less and less, and we're like, okay, I don't know what we're going to do. And should we apply for new work? Because we don't know when the next flight tickets are going to be. Is it going to be soon, or is it going to be
sure? Could it be 6 months? Yeah.
So you don't know what.
You're really in limbo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Limbo is the worst.
That's the right word, I think. So I guess that would be the worst in your experience. But when this happened with the government shutdown and flights effective around the 26th of September, before the shutdown even started, because they saw it coming, they stopped people. I really felt that our government had let people down. And so I reached out to Carl van Vleck from Food Socks and said, because I know Carl, and I said, listen, we've got some people that are going to quickly be in trouble here, because instead of shepherding the little bit of money they had so they'd have cash on this side, they're now spending it to buy, excuse me. Breakfast is closed, and people are coming here a half hour after breakfast is closed and being loud. Hopefully the mic cancels out, but it's very distracting for me. Sorry, folks. So instead of shepherding that money and saving it to use here in America, now they have to buy food or find a place to rent or something like that, and they have no idea how long. And a lot of people, some of them didn't have any money anyway, but some did. And I didn't want them to, I wrote to a few of these people, I did a call out on the channel. I said, listen, if you need food or accommodation, I can't promise accommodation, but I can try to mobilize a wide army to find accommodation. And we did that for a half a dozen or so families that were in that first batch. Others were able to find a place like you stayed with your parents. But some people had money and they were going to buy food. And I said, no, don't save that money. We can get you food. As long as you don't mind eating soy-based food, then you'll be okay. I mean, if you do, it's for a short period.
With the magnitude of this life-changing event, you are hyper excitable and anxious and uncertain, and it's emotional and it's overwhelming and it's real tough.
Yeah.
And then you get your letter of appointment or a letter of approval, and emotions heighten and you get all excited.
And then the
I can
lockdown.
approve. And then you get your flight tickets
Or
and
shutdown.
it's real now. And then stuff happens and you change too much in your life. So this is a difficult thing to manage. And
Yeah.
I want to encourage people not to make too drastic of a life altering or influencing decision within reason.
Yeah.
I mean, if you need to sell something, you need to sell it. But some of the guys that were on our first and second interviews with us on the day have still not flown.
Yeah, about half the people, my determination, roughly about half the people who were supposed to fly roughly from the 26th of September till about the 12th of October, because that's when flights were booked, who had them canceled because of the shutdown, about half of them are still stuck in South Africa. And I don't understand the logic. They should have been the first out.
Guys that were approved after the shutdown
Are already here.
have already arrived.
No, I know that. And a lot of people think it's unfair,
It is absolutely.
and I will not disagree with them. But people want to come on the program and complain about that, but I can't fix that. All I can do is make the government aware of it, and I've done that repeatedly. So it's helped in a few cases, but I don't, look, I mean, I've said this many, many times, I would not run this program this way. If they put me in charge, there would be much more
You
accountability.
also have to think about the timeline of the program. Like you've mentioned multiple times, it's almost unheard of in a refugee program to have any arrivals within the first 18 months.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is, normally set a program up, it takes that long, even when the UN is
Putting
screening people.
logistics in place and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, and this is a really, really unusual situation in that we also had no money for this program when it started last fiscal year, which of course ended 30 September. We're in a new fiscal year now. So the State Department had to rob Peter to pay Paul from accounts, and there are legal constraints. You can't just take money from here and put it there. Some things you have flexibility, and they did what they could flexible. And then one of the way they got people over here during the fiscal year before we got this year was that they reached out to states and said, are you able to help out? Because some of the states have resources and can do matching grants and things like that. So the funny thing about, the media in South Africa and some media here is that they're not very well informed about how things work.
Yeah.
So when that
And
happened,
they lie a lot.
yeah, of course they lie, but that's a whole other story. But they're also not very bright when it comes to things. So the story became in South Africa that these are the states that are accepting refugees from South Africa. No one was rejecting because the states have no say. The federal government puts refugees wherever the federal government wants to put them. It's called the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution. And whether I like it or not, they dump Afghans and South Africans in my neighborhood. I get no say about that. But the bottom line here is that there weren't states accepting. These were states that had resources that could supplement the paucity of resources the federal government had at the time. It's a little different now because that budget's approved now for the rest of the year. So we shouldn't see any, well, I can't say that because Homeland Security plays a role in placing you guys as refugees. So there might be a disruption still coming over, but there shouldn't be any problems with USCIS because they work for State Department and they'll be working, they're funded through 30 September. Homeland Security is a different story. So whatever role they play could be disrupted. So we have to wait and see going forward. But the point here is that there weren't states accepting refugees. There were states that had resources, said, sign us up, we're happy to participate.
Yep.
So now we've had South African refugees go to most of the lower 48. Of course, we've even had refugees go to Alaska. I don't know. That's
We flew with a couple, with a family that were on their way to Anchorage, Alaska.
okay.
Elderly lady and gentleman with young kids.
Uh-huh.
And they were completely overwhelmed, didn't know what to expect. You're going into one of the most inhospitable places in the world during winter.
Yeah.
And
It's a little chilly in Alaska.
coming from South Africa, that's a polar opposite.
And summertime. You're coming from summer to the winter, northern hemisphere's winter. And then, but the one place we don't put refugees is Hawaii because it's just too expensive.
It's
And so
incredibly
no one,
expensive.
I mean, it's hard for anybody to survive in Alaska or
But
Hawaii.
if you want to travel to an island as a refugee, Hawaii is still
Yeah, it's part of the United States.
in the US.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so you're not leaving the United States if you fly out there if you've got the resources.
that's just by the way. But
Yeah.
back to the what
The
was it?
shutdown? Tickets
Don't
to
make
wait.
life-altering decisions
yeah.
hastily.
Yeah.
As we resigned, having flight tickets in hand, you think it's a safe bet.
Well, it should be.
Yeah. So another family also did that. And they've been since the 30th of September without any form of income. And it's a family of 4 or 5. And it's getting ridiculously drastic to keep head above water. And
Well, I'm not
and to
familiar.
keep faith.
I'm not familiar with that family. If you're in touch with them, you need to
I
give.
sent their case details and letters of approval through to CWS
Okay, so
and our IRC case agent.
Okay, but that's all fine. That's about getting over it. But in the meantime, they shouldn't starve. What I'm saying is that give them my contact information, and we'll get food stocks to them, so they have food. And I wish I'd known sooner, but they wouldn't have had to waste resources on food since September.
So they are living with family, but for 4 months with two young
That's
kids,
a burden, you know.
It becomes a burden.
Yeah.
It was an act of charity, which is now turning into kind of
an
difficult
annoyance.
situation.
I mean, even though they're family, it becomes annoyance, and you don't want to do the family. So my point is that's so. What I've told people all along this program from the very beginning is, put your interest in. When it was interest, email interest. Now it's intake question. Put your application now, and you need to move about your life as if nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then when you get called, be ready to answer the questions. Be ready to go where they tell you to go, and then continue your life. If you've got a cluttered house and you're a hoarder, start getting rid of stuff you don't need. If you've got multiple bank accounts, you don't need all of them. Clean that up and get down to the one you really need, or two that you really need. If you've got debt that you can pay it off. You know, in a reasonable way. But you've got to continue your life. You've got to live your life. Don't take your kids out of school.
Prepare, but
Exactly.
don't make
That's
life
very
altering
important.
decisions.
Advice that we got from other refugees that are already
Here,
in United States, try to work until the last day possible, and inform your managers or CEOs or whatever of the company that this is the plan. But if your flight is booked for the 17th, try to work until the 16th,
If possible.
if possible.
There are logistical challenges to
Yes.
Sure,
everything. It's always a
well,
question
especially if
of
you got a
time.
car and you've sold it off to We Buy Cars. You know, then,
Yeah.
So yeah.
But don't make drastic decisions and continue as possible. And another thing that I want to add onto is, don't expect that in every state all the services of the case agents and everything that everybody that helps you are going to be similar. If someone tells you we receive this amount of money and we receive this type of housing and they help us with this, this, and this, don't expect to get that by the next date, because not everyone has the same budget, not everyone has the same resources. So
The agencies have differences in states as well.
exactly. So be grateful for what you get, and don't say, well, you get help for like 6 months and this person gets only help for 1 month. It's not everybody has the same experience.
Well, that's something I've been saying along too. Every refugee case is unique. Every experience is unique. But to that point, so some states have matching grants, like New York. If the federal government gives a certain amount of money, then they have a matching amount so that you get double that money,
Texas
or
has the same.
you get at least a plus up to it, like topping up your SIM card. You know, and some states have state programs to help with health and insurance and things like that. It varies because there's state level programs. We're in a federal system: federal government, state government, county, municipal, all local governments. So there's also lots of other things coming to play here. Some of these refugee case officers are pretty astute, and they'll take you by the Salvation Army or the Goodwill store, or if it's summertime, if they're clever, they'll swing you by, show you some great yard sales where you can get some good deals, people getting rid of their things. So you have to understand, that's a good point, Letticha, is that people are like, well, I'm going to Florida because they got all these benefits. Okay, hang on. Now, there are some things that are consistent. Your case officer is supposed to greet you at the airport and transport you to temporary or permanent accommodation from the get-go. You're not supposed to be at the airport guessing where you're supposed to go. They are also supposed to address several things, and the way they do it is it depends. But there's amount of money that's provided by the federal government for your relocation, and that money typically helps fund your first month rent, or maybe more beyond that, and a deposit if a deposit is required, which is the norm, but not always the case. So what you do need to get, and you got this if I'm not mistaken, but people in Rochester didn't, is that when they spend money on your behalf, like they give you a cell phone, that's not just free. I mean, there are some places where companies give away cell phones.
It comes out of your budget.
It comes out of that budget that the federal government has allocated.
But they administer that budget on your behalf. Just to be clear of that.
Correct.
You're not getting a bunch of cash and you have to fend for yourself. It is administered on your behalf.
But they owe you an itemized list of what they spent on your behalf. Whereas in Rochester, the family was given a letter saying we spent $5,800 on your behalf in direct assistance in 30 days. And I said, bravo, Sierra. I said, no, I'm not buying that for a second. And I was correct. They didn't provide any itemized lists. They claimed that they spent money here and there, but they weren't even paying for Ubers or transport or anything. And then when I went to Rochester to investigate what's going on, I found that it wasn't just the South Africans that had been happening to it. It happened to the Afghans and to the Nepalese and others. So, yeah, that's an important consideration to talk about. Okay, let's get away from refugee stuff for a little bit and talk about a few other things. So how are you finding Texas? You've been here for about a month and a half.
Yeah, so in our hearts, we've always had the Texas mentality.
Okay.
We are Christian conservative people, and it's been a dream of ours to actually be in Texas, and that dream is now a reality. It hasn't not felt like home for one day. And
okay, that was a convoluted sentence, but I think I inferred from that
it feels like
it's felt like home from day one.
From day one.
Okay, all right. When he was doing Afrikaans and speaking English,
Yes.
that's what that was. Did you see why it's good for me to understand Afrikaans? Because I knew where you're going.
Thank you for that. Obviously, there's a honeymoon phase to any change in your life, and with the magnitude of the change, the phase might last longer. It does feel like a bit of a holiday because you don't have work, you have food, you have shelter, you have all possible necessities that you could have. It is provided for you, and so it feels a bit like holiday, right? But it's also very real.
It's also a stressful holiday because money could run out
at any moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. And with that being said, it really, really feels like home. Wherever we go throughout
Everybody's
Texas so
really
far, the people are amazing. When we step off the refugee thing, I want to thank personally RSC Africa's, the ladies in Kenya that we dealt with were very courteous and patient and understanding and friendly, and they want to help, and you could feel their hearts to want to help. Our case agent at CWS, Abdul, is a champion.
Now, see, this is a good CWS story. See, I'm objective here, folks. I'm not targeting any of these agencies. I bring you the truth from the refugees themselves. What happened in Rochester, unacceptable. You've got, and the lady in Tampa has got a fantastic experience, but you have Church World Services here.
Every step of the way.
And his name is Abdul.
Abdul, yeah.
I assume he used to be a refugee as well.
He was a
Yes.
refugee.
So he can empathize with what you're going through.
Yes. And he's gone above and beyond to ensure that we are well taken care of. We need and want for nothing. He's given us personal transport from our apartment. He comes and picks us up, takes us to the case.
No, that is above and beyond.
Officers. Since then, we've gone on to matching grant after the RNP.
This is a Texas matching grant.
Yes.
Okay.
That's administered by IRC. And if Marcella ever sees this, thank you. You're also a champion. She's been great. Every single step of our journey has been blessed beyond measure in terms of support from family in South Africa that have also since applied, or not applied, they've probably applied because of the intake questionnaire, but they've also submitted statements of interest. Every step of the process, USCIS were incredible at the interviews. It was still very new in the process, and like you said, it gets better with time.
And
as
it evolves.
matures. Yeah. So it was a bit unstructured, and you were unsure about things, and you've got issues
I'm
with
sure they were too.
yeah, definitely, and not knowing exactly where your interviews would be. That's a secret. If they tell it to you over the phone,
it a
write it
secret.
down and keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Protect everyone, protect yourself, and keep your family out of harm's way. Don't go and blast it on Facebook like some idiots do.
Remember Woodmead
Yeah.
and
that's
what it almost cost them their second chance to get out.
Yeah. So it's real. This is real life. It's a life-changing.
Well, and
process.
sorry to interrupt, Ross, but it is real. And I had to break the news yesterday about a tragic situation in the Pretoria area in which a refugee family that was approved to fly Tuesday to come to the States. We believe it was home invasion. We don't know. It was during the day. The 7-year-old daughter was at home. The housekeeper was there, but they're flying out on Tuesday. And the husband came back to the house and found his wife shot through the chin, and the bullet exited her skull up here. They took her to hospital in Pretoria, and she was unconscious. They put her on drips and everything, and then gave her something because her brain was starting to swell because of the pressure. And so they were very concerned that she might have paralysis or brain damage. But I can report some good news is that she woke up Friday night to Saturday morning, overnight, South Africa time, in the middle of the night, and was conscious and ripped all the tubes out of her arm, probably not knowing what happened to her. What's this? You catch yourself. So that's actually good news. But what a horrific tragedy. They're going to fly Tuesday, and now someone's tried to take them out. So this
very
is
tragic.
very real. very real, and it really irritates me when people say it's not. All right, so you were thanking some folks, and before you finish that, I want to say, so all along I've told people, because when this first started, people just presume they know everything, and they don't. Like, who are these Kenyans to decide we go? The Kenyans don't make any decisions.
They don't have any say.
No, they simply screen. They are a contractor. They're a provider of a service that the government is outsourced to them, because the government needs to focus on the background checks and the vetting process and all the stuff that goes along with it, plus settling you over here. So that's all RSC. It's the same with Americanos. Americanos are just a vendor that's providing a service to them. So they screen you. They don't determine whether you come or not. That goes on. And I heard some people, like the Kenyans, are rude to me. They're racist. I don't believe that for a second. There might be a one-off person where somebody had a bad day or something like that, but almost to man and woman, virtually every South African refugee whom I've talked to and interviewed that has been screened by RSC said that they were empathetic. Some of them were in tears hearing some of the things that people shared.
Imagine your job
Is to listen to this.
day in, day out, for 40 years of your life. You sit and listen to horrific, life-altering stories that people have experienced and lived through. And you need to now summarize that. So you have to think about it to the extent that you can actually write it down in a presentable manner, in a sensible fashion.
To be fair to that person that's applying.
That could be used by the USCIS agents, who are the only guys that make the decision. But the guys that work for RSC Africa have one of the worst jobs I can imagine.
Yeah.
You sit and listen to people's life-breaking stories as a job and have to write it down. It really sinks in.
Yeah.
I hope they get counseling, because the friendliness and empathy and support that we felt from them, knowing that they dealt with all the people in Somali and
Congo and Myanmar.
and all the different refugee
they just do
programs.
Africa, sorry. Yeah.
It's I don't want that job.
No, and I'm not asking, don't cry from Argentina, but and it's not even my job, but with all the people that reach out to me and the horrific stories I hear from people, I'm going through the same thing. I do this, and it's 24 hours a day that people reach out to me. Yeah, but my case is more important. This happened to me. Look, I empathize with your situation, but I mean, and thanks for sharing your horror with me. But I mean, it's unbelievable, and that's why from the very beginning, and when people are attacking RSC, I don't know them. And I've never tried to contact them directly. I tried to go through Church World Service, because they're a subsidiary of Church World Service. Church World Service, I have some issues with at their national level, but in Rochester. But the RSC, I've always told people that I can't believe that they're disrespectful to you or rude to you, and that every person I've interviewed has said that they've been nothing but empathetic. And in fact, and same with USCIS, because USCIS had a little bit of a surge. They brought some additional people over to South Africa late in the year to get more people processed. And some of these people, I suspect, had less experience being these investigators and adjudicators. And I've talked to refugees who said that the Americans interviewed them were in tears listening to their stories.
Yeah. The USCIS guys were also extremely empathic with us.
And professional.
Absolutely professional. And they're under immense pressure, because they are the final decision makers.
Yeah, they decide whether you come or not.
And RSC Africa puts together your case file and gathers information that will aid USCIS to then come to a final determination after having interviewed you. So RSC Africa is providing a service that enables the case to move forward. And as a refugee, the norm is that you have already fled your country.
Right, in country is unusual.
Yeah, it is about the second, or I think it's the third or fourth.
Well, we've done Cuba and Bosnia and Herzegovina. I think it might be the fourth country.
Yeah, in-country refugee resettlement is completely different. But you should have actually already fled South Africa by the time that this program is up and running.
Under normal circumstances.
Yes. So the gracious host that the US are, have allowed in-country refugee resettlement, which isn't the norm. But you need to still think, I am a refugee. I should have actually been outside of South Africa at this point already, waiting for someone to rescue me.
Living in a tent.
Yes, the FEMA tents that everyone likes to say that we were going to be living in. We live in a real nice place.
We don't live in a tent, guys.
Certainly not in my yard.
And I bring that up to kind of sensitize you guys to the attitude that you need in this program, because attitude of gratitude will get you far in life. The more things you are grateful for, the more you will have to be grateful for. Then patience, because you are being rescued from a situation that is not conducive to life and safety and a future for your family. So be grateful, be patient. People are rescuing you. That's essentially what it's about, being a refugee.
Yep.
Be courteous, be friendly, be humble, and don't come here with demands and this isn't meeting my expectations. No, like you said very rightly, if you get treated badly, talk to someone about it. But there's a very big difference just getting all the benefits and support and food and housing and transport and flights and everything you need
That you're entitled to.
and expecting
Something beyond that.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's a fair point. I want to go back to the USCIS thing very quickly here, and just to make this critical. Imagine their job. Their job, and listen to how I'm going to frame this. They're the last line of defense. What I mean by that is that people from all over the world. I mean, Rwanda. Let's go to Rwanda in 1994. People murdered. Lots of
hundreds
people.
of thousands.
And then they slipped into camps in the Eastern Congo and claimed to be refugees. So the people that approved Rwandans to come here in 1994 had to approve and do background investigations in a country that didn't have police services or functioning.
Before internet.
And before the internet, before all this stuff, before mobile phones. They had to review these cases and determine whether the people were genuine victims of the genocide and fled, or they were the genocideers. And just like the Nazis after the Second World War, trying to get to Argentina, a place like that. So imagine being the USCIS officer who does the interview or is the adjudicator, looks at your case, and they approve a mass murder to come to America, only to be found out later on. Or they listen to your case and there's not enough evidence. They have to make a tough decision saying, no, you're not a legitimate refugee, you stay, and then, God forbid, your family gets slaughtered. And then they have to live with that. This is an incredibly difficult job. And it's something that most people don't appreciate and certainly have never experienced. I'm familiar with the process because of security clearances and because of being counterintelligence agent, and we have something very similar. But I don't think people really appreciate that. There's a lot that goes into this. And so all the fake media who talk about this and people haven't been vetted, I mean, in either of your cases, they talk to you more, but was there anything that, you don't have to tell me what it was, but was there anything that they discovered that you were kind of surprised they found out about? Because most people, they have something, they're like, oh, I had no idea they knew about that. Or did you just spend so much time with them, you shared everything with them, they have figured it out?
I prepared properly.
Okay, well, I mean, he's looking, hang on. He's got notes here, he's ready. He wants to get these points across and doesn't want to miss it. I like that. So it's like, is it Minri? Minri was on the program. She had a list of all the stuff she wanted to talk about right in front of her.
So, I mean, if something is really important to you, it isn't the least that you can do to be properly prepared for it. And I sat down prior to our first in-person interview and I started writing my story. And about 13 hours later, I was in half a book, just relaying what I can recall from the past and what happened to my family and what happened to some friends of mine and just neighbors on farms that were murdered not far from where we live.
And he was very thorough.
I would hope so after 13 hours. Either that, he's like, you can't write anything.
But it was a flow state.
Sure.
As I was writing, it just kept coming, and that was also very tough because now you're recounting, for the first time in a very long time, relive.
Because that stuff's been buried back here.
And you forget about stuff, right?
Yeah.
But when you really apply yourself now in preparation to this interview, you relive it. Then you do your first pre-screening interview and you relive it. Then you do the USCIS in-person interview and you do it again. And by that time, we were so sure about our why that it made the whole process so much easier.
Because you prepared.
Because we really were feeling again why we are doing this.
And the most important thing is do not lie.
Yeah.
When you say everything that you can about yourself, answer all the questions, it's mostly unlikely that they will pick up something. Well, they will, in any case, pick up something, but they will not address it if they have all the answers and get everything that they have the questions to. But regarding the question that you asked, one of my friends that actually did go through the process as well, her father was in the army in South Africa, and they said you need most of the documentations that you need coming from there. And he actually tried to retrieve the documentation by himself before going to the interview to be prepared. And they just said they cannot help him, and he cannot have
Our
access
own
to
administration.
Right.
they cannot have access to it. And he's like, okay, but he's just going to disclose that in the interview. And he went to the interview, and in the UCIS interview, they had all the documentation.
They
All
knew
the stuff
every
that
camp he
he
did,
cannot retrieve,
every
they
mission
had
that he was on.
everything.
Yeah.
So once again, for the people that know what they're talking about and say that these refugees have not been vetted, I tell you once again that the vetting process is sterling gold, sterling silver. And that's a good example right there. Yeah. So, but there are cases where they have had people go back and serve the police or the military, and they have said, you need to go back and get a certain document. That does happen. So that happens, it happens. But the bottom line is that when you walk into that interview, they know about you already.
And they put you under oath.
Yeah.
So tell the truth.
And you also sign a non-disclosure statement?
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it's a very real process. And it's been that way for the Afghans. Well, not for the 168,000 came here in 3 weeks short, but normally for Afghans and Congolese and Burmese and Kyrgyz, everyone that comes over, that's normally how the process works. All right. So let's shift a little bit here. So you're a musician.
Yes, sir.
All right. And tell us a little bit about what kind of music you sing, because I heard you sing, but the audience, unless they know you like your Tani there, they probably don't know what you sing.
Yeah, so grew up in a very musical family. Sana is a beautiful pianist.
Okay.
She plays well and sings well. So my mom's whole family are instrumentalists.
Okay.
My dad's whole family do both instruments and singing. So growing up, I was exposed to music constantly, and it is probably the most enjoyable and largest part of my life, outside of my beautiful wife.
Is that playing any role in how the two of you met, the music, or no?
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, so look, I have to ask this question because I'm not sure what the law is in Texas, but I mean, are you allowed to marry 14-year-olds? What's the deal? What's that all about? I think in Kentucky that's legal, but maybe I don't think in Texas. But is it legal?
With all the Muslims that are trying to implement Sharia law here in Texas at the moment, so we need South Africans to come fight off the Muslim invasion. I heard Muhammad married a 6-year-old, but that's not okay in the Christian culture. So
I think she was 9, but anyway.
She was actually 27 when we got married. 27 in a couple of days.
Yeah, I'm not by that. That's I'm going to pull a flag on that. That's a yellow card. Yeah, he's just covered himself here. Anyway, no, but seriously. So, did music play a role in how you guys met, or was it unrelated?
I was at a venue where my band back in South Africa. I was part of a.
Can you share the name of the band? Is that okay?
Pilgrim South.
Okay, Pilgrim South. Okay.
So, we've since obviously
disbanded, yeah.
But we were a very tight knit group and had some reasonable success in the industry. So I was at a venue where we were set to perform in a couple of days, just checking out the logistics and confirming everything everything's going to be in place. And I met her there, and the way she's looking into my eyes now.
Look at these two. I'm going to step aside because it might get physical on camera here.
When I looked into those eyes and the way it was looking back,
you just knew.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So music did play kind of a role in it.
Yes.
Okay, but you also sing.
And
I
voice
do,
of
but
an angel.
I did not grow up in a music background family, and I've never actually tried to pursue it.
Okay.
I actually started singing when I met him, but
I invited her on stage.
Was in the shower.
So, and in the car some. So I invite her on stage, and then I can see she's real nervous, but then I just hold her hand and we do it. And afterwards, every time you can see she's enjoying it more and more.
Yeah.
So to a point now where she's like giving me a signal, I'm ready for the song now. So I really love the opportunity because my mom has a beautiful voice.
Okay.
But I've only ever heard her sing once.
Ah, shame.
My dad's a beautiful singer, and he's never had the privilege of singing with his wife. Mm-hmm. And I have that.
Oh, wow. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So music did play a role. Okay. So Have you had a chance, other than the performance yesterday? Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah, you're
I really
welcome.
appreciate it. That was pretty
It
awesome.
was awesome for me as well.
Have you had a chance to perform here since you arrived, or was that the first time?
So the day after Christmas, we had a braai in the complex. By that time, we were the 6th
Family.
Afrikaner family
Okay.
In that specific
in that complex. It's just across the road where Lily and them stay.
Okay.
So Rian and Lily and the kids and everyone from their complex joined us, and we had a lovely braai, and we met some great Romanian people that were in the area, some real gypsies, Mr. Diamond, hey, and we had the best of times. And yeah, I just got the speaker that morning, so I had to test it out. And what better opportunity to play some Afrikaans music than at a braai in Texas? So
Well, that was the
yeah.
first time that Lily went live with him on the.
A bunch of you might have seen the
Yes.
video, and thank you for the kind words and support. It's appreciated.
But here in the States now, I think I don't know if this is a secret, you don't have to share it, but I think you're breaking out a new brand.
Yes,
wanna share
I don't think we're gonna.
You're going to hold it off?
This
Yes,
close.
Okay,
but by the next time that we meet,
Okay.
the trademarks will be in place.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, he's got a new brand coming out, and it's
Yeah.
really cool. So we won't share yet. So we'll keep you hanging on that one.
But we are gonna have an email address available somewhere if you want to reach out and get in contact for bookings. It's ras.bookme@gmail.com.
Okay.
ras.bookme.
He'll give me that link afterwards, and
Yeah.
I'll put it in the description later on.
Yeah. So, but we'll hold off on the big reveal.
Okay, that's fine. I know what it is already, but I'm
But we're super stoked
sworn to
about it,
silence.
and I think it's gonna be a hit.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great opportunity. So yesterday he sang Elvis, he sang Neil Diamond, he sang Francois van Kolk, and she did Karen Zoid's.
That's John Denver,
John
Johnny
Denver,
Cash,
yeah, Johnny Cash. It was pretty cool.
and a lot of Afrikaans.
Yeah, no, which was great too, and you could see the Afrikaners singing the lyrics.
So yesterday we had families that have been in the States for 27, 23, 17 years, 13 years, a whole bunch of seasoned Amerikaners,
Yeah.
Afrikaanse Amerikaners. And it was beautiful seeing the success that they have been able to build in the States by just being Boere and applying themselves and making a plan. And sharing that with them and bringing some Afrikaans, because they most likely have only seen Afrikaans music in the States when some big name oaks come over, and hopefully one day soon I'll also be one of them. But it was a privilege for me to bring Afrikaans music to them at their home.
And it was fun to see that it doesn't matter how long they have been in the States.
Hulle is proper
They
Afrikaners.
still sang with him all the Afrikaans words. He did a melody,
Medley.
a medley of all the old South African
Sari
songs. that we
Maree.
ever
Yeah, Sari
wrote
Maree, I heard it,
out with. And
Yeah, there are almost tears in the crowd for that
They
one.
were
they
tears.
were singing along and singing together. So just experiencing that as well as new American.
What it meant for
Arrivals.
them. That was
Arrivals.
beautiful, yeah.
that
And,
was-
and on that, thank you for coming to the Lone Star State. The meet and greet was lovely.
It was epic, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
And seeing the Lexington guy. What
Oh,
an
John B. Wells.
experience.
That was so. I mean, there were. I mean, the people have been in the States for a long time. The ones you referred to, obviously, they're a bit older for the most
Yeah.
part. They definitely knew, and they like the Lexington guy.
Ronnie, my dad's brother,
Yeah.
I believe from what I remember that he was also a staunch Lexington smoker.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So, yeah, I met John D yesterday.
Does
and
your Uma have a gravelly voice too?
he
You guys been
does.
smoking those
He
cigarettes?
does. Yeah.
and he sings too, but he has a very deep bass.
He's got a proper bass.
Okay.
Deep bass, yeah.
Deeper than Joe Black?
No, yes, sir.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So there was one theme that was very consistent from the South Africans, and some of whom are now American citizens, other permanent residents, who have been here for a long period of time. The consistent theme and look, none of them, there were two things actually. None of them were complaining about their experience, and none of them were trying to say, well, hey, it's not fair what refugees are getting now. But bear in mind that these folks all came over here with nothing. They, for the most part, started and they immigrated here, or they came on a work visa and then got a permanent residency. And there were no agencies to help them. There was no one getting an apartment for them. They had no place to turn to, no reference points. And many of them come over when there weren't many South Africans around. So they were a fish out of water on their own. And we're talking mostly about Afrikaners here. There were some English speakers. But for those folks, they went through an awful lot. And they did it without the support of anyone else. That's the first point.
Yeah.
And so they're not complaining. They don't complain. And we're not trying to contrast, but just trying to explain the point that, and I'm trying to make the point here, I guess, by extension, is that if you come over as a refugee, it's incredibly generous opportunity
Yes.
and incredibly generous set of circumstances
It's
as
a
long,
blessing.
as long as your case officer does their job properly. They don't have to go above and beyond, but just doing the minimum is more than people get when they immigrate this country or come here to work visa. And the second thing about this is that, excuse me, they all said that you can have anything you want in America.
Yeah.
You can have any success you want
Land of opportunity.
if you're humble, you work hard, and you're respectful, and you're trustworthy. If you do those things, the sky's the limit.
Yesterday I had a shirt on, stay hungry, stay humble, which is a motto that one could live by. Because met ywer en deursettingsvermoë en net 'n klein bietjie 'n boer maak 'n plan, kan jy regtig hoogtes bereik wat jy nie op die oomblik kan besef moontlik is nie. So ek wil julle bemoedig. Droom groot. My pa het vir my gesê net voor ons gekom het, moenie te klein droom nie. En dankie, pa.
Wow, it's a nice tribute to your dad. You got me all emotional. With an Afrikaans, I'm choked up.
Yeah, it's real. It's real.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Now you got me teared up. Hang on a second.
It's
Here.
like I'm the
No,
only
it's-
man here.
Oh gosh, bunch of sissies. Oh my goodness. Anyway, that was an Afrikaans. Look at me. Jeez. Yeah. No, I got you. It's yeah. Wow.
Sorry about that.
You know, it's good to show respect.
Another
Go,
thing
go
that
ahead,
I want
Letticha.
to
Jump, please
add-
jump in.
Sorry
Be,
about
be the man in the group
on
for us
that
now.
emotion, there was a lot of friends and family that told us, no, you're going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
You cannot do this. You're going to lose your language. Jy gaan Afrikaans verloor. And seeing the people that has been here for over 20
Hulle is
years,
boere Afrikaners.
It's not true.
Ja.
it's not true. You still speak Afrikaans. You still have your
The culture
waardes,
doesn't go
your
Still got the
culture.
boca.
Ja.
So the one
Absolutely.
family that we met, that they've been here 28 years. The children was born here, grew up here in the States. The mother speaks Afrikaans to a child. It's a full American child. The child responds in English, but she only speaks Afrikaans to a child. And you can still do that. You can still be Afrikaans. You can still live your life. You don't have to change into an American.
Yeah, so Ian and Rosa that opened their homes to us
Yeah.
yesterday, very graciously, beautiful home, beautiful people. Above his braai, he has a sign that says, "Pas op, die boer moer." So, hulle is nog 100% Afrikaans en ons sal altyd wees. En die
Even
kinders
the
verstaan ook
toilet
mooi
sign said-
Afrikaans. So,
Ja.
Die troon.
so
Well, I certainly understand that sign. That was, and if I didn't, I had all day to think about it because I saw it all day long in that room. You know, and then just the hinter room behind that, you go in there. That's the rugby room. You know, big screen
Yeah.
TV. They've got they're huge Sevens fans. which-
Matchfield was up on the wall.
Yeah,
and
and
the
it-
Sevens guys
it
and
was-
jerseys. And,
Yeah, it was, and we hung out last night and chatted about that, and I talked about how sad. By the way, the Blitzball won in Perth.
Right.
They lost to Fiji in the knockout stages, but then met them in the final, and they won by 2 points. So
Yeah.
they won another one.
Geluk MP en almal daarso. Ons is trots op julle manne.
But these guys are huge Sevens fans. But they've also. But I had to give them a hard time. I kept giving Ian a hard time because they went to France for the World Cup. I was there. I said, well, "Why didn't you say hi?"
Yeah.
They,
And what's
they
up
went,
with that?
They went to the Vegas Sevens every year. I was there. I'm like, how come you never greeted me? And so they have gone to the matches I've gone to, and I never met them
For
before.
5 or 6 years, you visited all the same
Yeah,
tournaments.
yeah, these same places, and probably passed each other in the street. But now we know each other, and they will be at the game in Baltimore on the 12th of September, as will I. And that's the hottest ticket in America right now, beyond the Super Bowl, which is
Yeah.
today. There are no tickets left for that. It went really just
Excellent.
like that. Just
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and we've got the FIFA World Cup coming this year, so there will be an influx of people. Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm just talking about the experience of all the people.
Bafana.
At least they qualified for once. Eh?
No, they did. Look, I mean, they've done okay in the African Cup of Federations a few times. So, they're just not that exciting. And,
Yeah, definitely.
and I'm going to use Ronald Lamola's logic here. Ronald Lamola says that you must be white and Afrikaner to participate in the refugee program.
Yep.
I suppose if you look to these two, they say, yes, see, there's my proof. but it isn't true. By the same token, I'm going to say you must be black to play on Bafana Bafana.
Yeah. Well, on that point, at our in-person interviews, we were there with a lovely family of Indian people from Durban.
Okay. How stereotypical is that? Indians from Durban.
Yeah, well, they were racially persecuted.
I'm sure.
During the Get Zuma out of jail riots.
The ANC's internal insurrection in July of 2021.
So, from what I understand, they've been safely placed in the States, and we know of a lot of colored families, even in the complex across the road where Lily and them live. I believe there's a colored couple there.
I actually went to a baby shower 2 weeks ago of one of the refugees that is going to expect a baby. And attending the baby shower is also a colored couple that is refugees from South Africa.
Yeah. So all the lies in the media, they try and fearmonger because they're all part of this leftist disinformation machine that is CNN and MSNBC, and a lot of what is being said on CakeNet is bull. And it's open for Afrikaners, yes, and all racial minorities in South Africa that are suffering unjust racial discrimination or have a well-founded fear of future persecution.
Sounds like he wrote the embasy's website.
I've read it
many times, as have I. So.
And on a lot of questions, go to the za.usembassy.gov website and read. There's a lot there. Go on the Amerikaners.com website and read. And then you won't be asking repetitive questions of someone that's dedicating an enormous amount of his personal time and life at no compensation to aid Afrikaners and racial minorities in South Africa, being a bastion of truth, a pillar of strength, a beacon of hope and light, and a little bit of light in a massive darkness makes a difference. And Colonel Wyatt, as an Afrikaner, I know that I speak on behalf of a lot of the Afrikaner volk. Namens hulle wil ek die geleentheid vat om vir jou dankie te sê vir wat jy vir ons doen.
That's my pleasure. I'm happy to do it for you all. So thank you so much.
And I know a lot of you guys love and support this man. He deserves every little morsel of support and respect and love that you can send his way. Super chats go a long way. All the travel that he does is on his own cost. He came from Pennsylvania to Texas. He's going to go to other states just to bring you more information and make the plight easier, shed light on the injustice that is the communist regime in South Africa. And he's a source of objective truth, which is a very scarce thing in the media. So on that point, I'd also like to say that channels like Explain America, they have meant a lot to our case, just to know what's happening in politics. Someone like a Benny Johnson that talks the truth. Promethean Updates, two wonderful ladies. If you really want your eyes opened to the wonderful work that Donald Trump is doing for Western civilization, because Europe's gone to crap, absolutely overrun by a Muslim invasion of note, that is almost irreversible damage being done to Western and Christian cultures across the globe. And Donald Trump and Javier Milei are some of the only folks that I'm aware of that have the ballas,
the chutzpah,
op te staan.
But yeah, die balla.
vir wat reg is. And so stop watching CNN. It's on everywhere you go. We're sitting, there's a TV here, and it makes me want to puke because DSTV, being the buggers that they are, only allow you pretty much CNN. And if you listen to them, you will not be informed. So yeah, that's just a
well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay, so all right. I'm going to surprise them now. So this is personal. They don't have to answer it, but okay. So I didn't ask how long you guys been married or together. But I noticed you didn't bring any little Lettichas or any little Bozzies with you. I mean,
Yeah,
is that a consideration
future.
for the future?
Yes, sir.
That's a young bokkie.
And I made a good decision on that front.
I said 14, which is too young. He claimed 27. So, there's a clock here at some point. Anyway.
So we met in December of 2020,
Okay.
just post lockdown and all that COVID scam bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
He didn't want me cussing, and then he cussed.
Sorry,
Anyway, no,
that's just a slip. But
it's
COVID
okay.
really gets to me.
Yeah, it gets a lot of us. Yeah.
So we've been together for 5 years plus, and we were engaged since 23. We were planning a beach wedding in Mozambique for next May.
That's right.
Well, it would have
Yeah,
happened
now it's
this
this way.
year.
Yeah.
And it's not in the cards, but we'll have we got married last year in August.
The 25th
First of
of
August.
August.
Okay, so we were talking. You mentioned something about the newlywed phase. There is definitely a newlywed phase here. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, okay. You've been married since August. Little one, it's too soon. Okay, and but speaking of too soon, but aren't you going somewhere today? We were talking about employment earlier. Are you going for a job possibility from here?
Yeah. So we arrived in the States on the 18th of December.
Yep.
We did a walk-in for our Social Security cards, which some places allow, some don't. But if you don't have the initiative to try and make things happen for yourself, you're always going to sit like a beggar.
Yeah.
And the Afrikaner people have always been innovative and striving for self-sufficiency and self-governance in this country. Yeah, in this country, that is the same founding principle.
Yeah, it's the same ethos.
Yeah, so it's a pioneering spirit, a voortrekker spirit. It's the same thing pretty much. And so we were proactive in our approach and went to a social security agency. We got our applications in. Within 10 days, our social security cards arrived on the 9th of January in the post. It actually works in America. The post works. You can get all your mail.
I leave my broadcast every day to pick up the mail. And
the mail works. It's beautiful. On the 13th, we had interviews and secured employment. That's 3 and a bit weeks in country. We got our employment authorization documentation and everything that's to do with that. And yeah, within 4 weeks, we had jobs.
You have a job as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
She's been appointed.
But I'm only starting at the 1st of April, and I'm going to use this to promote the business a little bit.
Okay, good.
Some of the South Africans that are in the United States that employed us, they are actually South Africans. They're opening a coffee shop down in Rockwell, 1776 Republican Coffee. So it's opening on the 1st of
Republic
April.
coffee, not Republican.
Republic Coffee. So when you come to the States and you're close to Rockwell or close to Dallas, please pop in.
Are you going to be a barista or a manager?
I'm going to be the barista, yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
And the marketing manager.
Okay, well, that's good. Okay, cool. That's great on the CV. So,
Yeah.
well, that's amazing.
And it's such an apt name for the 250th anniversary of the United States, 1776 Republic Coffee. You will see that name and it will become a super successful franchise within the next couple of years. So just watch the space.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it. That should be interesting.
And they are going to sell a few South African foods like boereworsrolle,
Melktert.
roosterkoek. So
Malva
it's going to be
pudding.
an American coffee shop, but just a little bit of South African in there to make the Americans know what food actually tastes
Should taste like
Oh, gosh. Here we go.
So we had the agriculture.
I know what food tastes like. I had a braaibroek yesterday with no onions, and it was fantastic.
That is fantastic. Just Afrikaanse kos.
No, but there's a key distinction there. No onions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He's also the cut the corner braaibroekie type.
Cut the corner. No, that's enjoying the braaibroekie. We're not covering up the flavor with onions, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Right, my bro.
I don't like chutney on mine personally.
Yeah.
And most people do. So that's why she's saying cut the corner, because you need to be able to identify the one that doesn't have chutney on it.
It's a South African tradition. The basic braaibroekie, everybody eats it the same, and then there's always this one guy at the braai who doesn't want this. So then you just cut the corner of the broekie, and then you know which one is the special one.
You like what you like, eh? So,
Exactly. I'm not going to apologize for that. All right, so
back to the work. Every step of the way has been a blessing beyond measure and beyond what you could expect. and I started work on Monday past the 26th.
Oh, so you've already started working. Okay.
26th of January was my first day at work. With the winter storms and ice that we had, I couldn't drive through, so I had a bit of remote work. But I was actually on site down in Nederland, just south of Beaumont, on the way to Port Arthur, Texas, on the Texas-Louisiana border. It's a 5-hour drive from Dallas. So we're heading back down tonight. I've been really blessed. This first week on site's been great. Awesome people.
So I do have to ask a question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, things are a little different here in America than they are in South Africa. So, I mean, in South Africa, they don't require any training for this. But so is there a certification program for your car guard job?
No, car guards don't exist in the States. You get some very...
no car guards, no FEMA tents? But I was told by the media in South Africa.
If you listen to CNN, that's what you would expect.
You have to pour your own gas.
Ooh.
Daar's nie 'n petroljochie nie.
Yeah, that's true. Well, except in New Jersey.
Okay.
By state law, you can't pump your own gas in New Jersey.
I actually met a guy that pumped Elvis's gas back in the day.
Yeah, he told me that. Because we were talking
Memphis, Tennessee.
He asked me if I wanted to play an Elvis song, and I couldn't think of which one, and then he just played the perfect song. It was fantastic. But he said that he met a guy that did that, and I actually met Elvis. I mean, I think a lot of people know that. When I was a kid, I used to run around Graceland, and he was amazing. So,
but on that, daar's nie karwagte nie, want dis nie nodig nie. Die polisie werk, die brandweer werk, die ambulance werk, alles werk. It's beautiful.
Even the illegals work here.
Yeah.
And we have electricity and we have water and there's...
Refugees also work. So
yeah, and they're allowed to work. As soon as they have their social security number, they can hop right to it. I mean, look, guys, I mean, we talked
on that.
Yeah,
some of the qualifications, if you are secondary school,
high school,
tertiary education, like
tertiary.
College or university.
Yeah, that would be tertiary. Yeah, college.
So there are some degrees and diplomas that need to be translated to a US standard.
Right.
I was blessed enough with my engineering degree that it is already acknowledged as part of the Washington Accord.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I didn't need translation.
Yes, and you also don't have to take any certification classes.
And that adds a bit of time to you actually being able to get employment if you were to want it in the field that you were working in.
Mm-hmm.
Just another disclaimer, no, they did not approve us because he's an engineer.
No.
They don't care about your job description.
Whether you're 2 years old.
Confusion in the South African.
Well, because they think it's an immigration program.
Yes.
It's not immigration.
It's
about
you want to
persecution.
save your life.
Right.
And that's it. If you're 92 or 2, it doesn't matter. If you were working or weren't working, if you're willing to work, come to America because there's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to work, and that's a disclaimer.
But there's a song in the 1980s by one of my favorite performers, Nena. Most of you know her from 99 Red Balloons or Luftballons. She had a song called Retta mich, Hilfe Retta mich, which means save me. And essentially that's what the refugee program is. It's to save you from a terrible fate or from suffering miserably because you're being persecuted against. A lot of people, I get people who write to me, well, I have this degree and I have this degree. And then, so I'd like to come over now. I'm like, well, you can like in one hand and hope in the other hand, and they're both going to be empty because it isn't about that. We're not recruiting people to work jobs over here. We're saving people's lives.
And it's also not just for farmers.
No, of course not. No.
Dis nie net vir boere nie. Dis nie die boere Afrikaner refugee program nie. Nee.
Yeah.
Afrikaners and all racial minorities in South Africa, regardless of background, unless you yourself were a persecutor.
Yeah, then you're not.
That's one of the very
disqualifier.
Very
one of my
few
friends that just commented, I think.
grounds for disqualification. Yeah.
Said, Leanne Rassie stuur groete van Secunda.
Ag,
Hallo
dankie,
julle.
dankie.
Yeah, if you've committed human rights abuses or you're a serious criminal, it doesn't matter. You're going to be persecuted. You're not coming here.
You can't expect to be saved from racial persecution if you yourself
were a persecutor.
Committed persecution.
Well, I mean, it stands to reason, but that's so. There's another thing too we should talk about. A lot of people have been making arguments. Two things. Number one, and I was asked this question today in a business interview about South African refugees returning to the States. As of December 31st, the U.S. government confirmed to me that not a single refugee that's come here from South Africa has gone back to South Africa. There's a lot of verraaien, leugners, and betreugners out there that are spreading this nonsense. Now, I can't account for January, but I seriously doubt anyone has gone back. So that's important to understand, is that that's not happening. There was one other point I want to make there, but it just slipped my mind because I was detailing that, but I'll come back to it. Yeah, it's if you want to know about this program, you don't have to listen to anything I say. You don't have to listen to anything they say. Go to za.usembassy.gov.
Yep.
Click on the
source
link.
of truth.
Right. Click on the link on the left-hand side. Go read about the program. You'll read about the intake questionnaire. There's a link there. If you go to fill out the intake questionnaire, here's the advice. Do it on a PC or a laptop. Don't do it on a mobile phone. Don't do it on a tablet because you'll make mistakes and it's hard. You can't go back and fix it. So do it there. Save your work frequently and read the directions. Follow the directions, because people just start filling out the questionnaire and they screw it up. Print the questionnaire, print the directions out, and then you can have them right next to you and see if you're confused. Take your time and do it. Anyway, but it's so you don't have to listen to us. You can just go and do it. And that's what I've told people all along. But there's still people that insist on listening to the nonsense that's being spread out there about this program. It's not for farmers, Ronald Lamola. It's not for Afrikaners. You don't have to be white to come here. And I've known that all along, and I've been honest about all along. And these guys know it. They've met Indians and coloreds and Sutis as well. Sorry, English speakers.
Soties.
I know, Sotis, yeah. Sotis. It's like Blaubergstad. And they're like, no, it's not Blauberg, Chris, it's Bloberg. But it's spelled Blau.
That's Blauberg, meneer.
Yeah. But that's because I speak German.
Yes.
So that's the German coming through, and it confuses things. But anyway, but yeah, no. How do you say Saudis? No.
Soties.
Sotis. See, I don't get that from that spelling. It's like the G's.
It's also called a Rooinek.
Yeah, I know that they're rednecks, but we have rednecks too. So.
Well, completely different thing, yeah.
I know.
African sun might be a bit like the Texan sun, actually. We haven't felt it yet, but I hear it's going to get real hard.
Yesterday.
Oh yeah, there's your that's your name.
And the colonel also got some sun.
Oh
in the
yeah, I
face.
definitely got some sun there. I mean, it's I'm usually pink from Roosh. That's why I'm not white. I'm pink, but anyway, yeah, no, it was definitely and I stayed out of the sun for the most part. Yeah, but I see it's like you've been branded with your name on your chest now. All right, here's another one.
Okay.
What's with the Cowboys jersey? You got a Cowboys jersey on.
I know. Well, we haven't watched a football game yet.
But you just want to fit in, or?
A couple of years back, there was an inspector coming to South Africa.
Oh, you already had this jersey
from the States? No, he brought me one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
4 years back,
Okay.
during a shutdown at the company we were working with, the American guy brought me as a gift a Dallas Cowboys jersey, and we're staying in Dallas. We love rugby. We'd like to get into watching some football. And
this one matches his shirt in there.
we are Cowboys in heart.
Okay, got it.
So,
I got it. I was listening, sorry, but there was a super chat. I was
Yeah.
okay.
So it's just befitting.
Yeah, no. I was just curious. Because I mean, you can't abandon rugby. So
No, both of us are big Blue Bull supporters, and I know you're a big Stormer supporter. My granddad's also a massive Stormer supporter, so we're used to this. But
I can't go anywhere without Bulls fans showing up. I mean, it's my biggest beef with Steve Hofmeyer. It's the only beef I have with him. He's a Bulls fan.
I sê die regte ding, maak die bulle almal bokke, jy weet.
Yeah.
Blauwel eet nie van die vloere.
Dis net so.
There was a super chat question asking, and I'll tell him the answer, and you can confirm that. So the question was, as a Canadian who gave $5 Canadian, thank you for that. I think Sir Madam, I think it was a gentleman that went by past. No, you don't get to choose your destination as refugee. However, you can influence potentially where you go with the following. If you already have family that's in America, when you process, you tell them I have family in Texas or I have a family in Montana. I'd like to be near them. We tend to make a concerted effort to put you near your family after we contact the family and make sure they really want you near them.
That's a disclaimer.
Right. So go Sharks. Knights of Justice. How much did you pay for that? 35 Rand. That's not enough to promote the Sharks. That's a 350 Rand super chat. Bring that nuss in here. Oh, no. Anyway. No, but seriously, especially after the last 2 weekends, and oh my gosh, Stormers. Anyway, but no, you can influence it. So what they'll do is they'll contact that family member, and they'll say, your daughter, your son, your nephew, whatever, your grandchildren are coming over as refugees. We'd like to locate them where they're at. Are you able to support them or sponsor them in some way? And if they say no, that doesn't mean you won't go there. But it just means that they've got to spend more money. That money could have been allocated, a different way for you. So they try to save money in the program. So they'll try to put you near them. But I mean, you might get a situation where, like, Tani's over here in Georgia, and her nephew wants to come over, and she didn't want anything to do with him because she just didn't like him. So you won't go there if they say there's discord. And if you have a job already in America with an employer that's agreed to continue your employment when you come over, you can say, hey, look, I got a job in Nebraska. Here's a letter of employment for these guys. I've been working for 5 years. Any chance I can go to Nebraska? There's also a possibility these days you can work remotely. So
And it doesn't always work out.
no. I know that's where we're getting at. So I mean, you can influence potentially. That's the phrase, and that's the correct phrase. So some refugees do wind up exactly where they want to go.
Exactly.
Most go where either we have a combination of things. There's a lot of factors. The absorptive capacity. We can't put you in Springfield, Ohio, with 18,000 Haitians in a town of 41,000. That's a disaster, and we saw what happened.
Eat the dogs and eat the cats.
Yeah, that's right, and that's the Biden regime thing. So we put you in a place that has absorptive capacity, where there's available housing, where there's a job market, where there's transportation potentially, but not in America. It doesn't have much in the way of public transportation like Europe. So, but we tried to do that, and also your skills. The Stoltz family is in South Carolina because he's a piano tuner and in the piano industry, and there's a small piano industry in that area that he can work his way right into. So that's why they wound up in South Carolina. Other folks wind up in places because of agricultural background, but that's not hard and fast. I know Dydenwool Boer, Ekta Boer, who are in Vegas.
Yeah.
In Vegas. I mean, they're not farming. They're not farming in Vegas.
We've got some guys from our complex that are moving to Nevada now. We've got work on a farm there. Yeah. So,
but that's their own initiative. They're going there on their own, and they're not going to fly because there's like 5 in the family. It's unfortunate. They're going to drive. So you can influence it potentially, but it doesn't always work out that way.
So our experience was that they asked, do you have a preference where you would like to go? And that is a preference and a would like. It's a wish.
Yeah. And they'll look to see if it's possible.
Secondly, they gave us from RSC Africa little friends and family ties info cards that if you have a friend or a family member in the States, so it's not just family. So we have,
give me a friend as well. I just focus on the family.
Yeah. So we had a friend living up here in Little Elm, Timmy, and we put him up, and they want to try and place you within reason so that you have some sort of a support framework. Even now, the number of refugees are increasing, and the communities are starting to form, that you've got someone that can have your back if you really need something. But initially they tried, pardon me, to at least get you close within 2 or 3 hours of someone that you might know in the States.
And you have to provide a
contact
information
information
and a house address of the person. So if you just know them, but not in contact with them, to get the details from them.
So in
this is why there are no refugees in my lawn, because you don't have my address.
Because we're all your friends now. So.
Yeah, apparently a lot of USCIS and RSC people, when they see people in person, if you know anybody, and they're all like Colonel Wyatt, and then they all smile and like, yeah, we know you're Colonel Wyatt. In your case, you were saying, sorry.
Yeah, our friend Ty actually collected us from the airport.
So not your case officer?
No.
But that was arranged.
That was arranged through the case officer.
That was arranged through the case officer.
That's what I want to get.
And go ahead, finish that, and I want to add something here.
So with that friend and family intake form, when you submit their information, RSC Africa or CWS would reach out to them, and they specifically asked our friend, would you be willing to collect us from the airport? And he said yes. Would you be willing to buy them their first meal in the States? And he said, definitely. And then they asked, would you be willing to have them stay with you for 3 months?
No.
And he said, no, which we respect.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to come here and
that's a big intrusion, big imposition.
Yeah. So absolute respect for that. And we would never expect that from anybody.
Yeah.
So that being said, he did collect us from the airport.
Did he give you your first meal?
He took us to our apartment. We had our apartment set up by our wonderful case workers and
Abdul,
Lily, and her support network that she's building in the Dallas area. She does so much for Afrikaners, new families coming over. She makes sure that the houses are clean and look nice, and that it is stocked with what is necessary. So our case agent had when we got there, already bought us a bed, a couch, a dining room table and chairs. We had crockery, we had pots and pans, we had some silverware, a massive refrigerator,
Food in the fridge.
full
already.
of food. The fridge was full of fruits and vegetables and fresh meat and bread. They even got us some rooibos tea. I don't know where they got it because we're still looking for some. But
You can overpay for it on Amazon. It's
our
expensive.
pantry was stocked. So that brings me to one of the points that I actually wanted to address, and she's been on a lot of the support groups on Facebook and WhatsApp, and we see people giving people, I would say, useless advice, actually stupid advice. Don't bring your George Foreman grill or your pressure cooker because I like my
You can buy
pressure
it for
cooker.
20 or 30 bucks or pick them up at the thrift store for $5.
Or
Yeah.
you can go on Facebook Marketplace
And we'll get
one
to
for free.
Facebook Marketplace now. You are allotted one 23-kilogram suitcase
Yes.
that is paid for as part of the program, and you sign a promissory note that you would repay your flight tickets.
Yep.
That's the only cost involved in this program. That you promised, after 6 months, I'll start paying back my flight tickets, but within 3 years, I would have paid back my flight tickets.
And it's important to know that that's an interest-free loan, which
Yes.
means the money you're paying back is worth less than they gave you
yeah. So
because of
with,
inflation.
with that, and she told me about this, came across people that say, you need to bring your pressure cooker. Imagine that.
We invented pressure cookers.
What?
No, Americans invented pressure cookers. Why would you need to bring one?
Yes, you can add an additional suitcase on some of the flight providers. We flew Delta and were allowed an additional piece of luggage per person at a cost that you carry.
Right.
That's important.
I don't know what Delta, $100?
$100
Yeah, $100
per
bucks.
suitcase per flight.
United
We
is
had 2
$150,
flights.
yeah.
And a
Oh,
couple
really?
of-
They charge you both flights? Were you still on Delta the whole way?
Yes.
Oh, that's a rip-off.
So-
I mean, when I pay for extra bag, it's all the way to my final destination.
So we paid at Atlanta
Okay.
to the DFW.
Oh, but that's probably because of the way they booked your ticket.
it's a domestic flight. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
It's
when
not
I-
a connecting.
right? Yeah, they didn't book it as a connecting
No,
flight.
yes.
Yeah, see, that's why. Yeah, that's unfair, but that's the reality.
But now, with that being said, you've got a limited volume of what you can bring, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why would you bring something as useless as a pressure cooker when you can get the best pressure cooker on the market at a steal and for free on Facebook Marketplace in a lot of cases? Facebook Marketplace is your friend.
Not in South Africa.
No.
No.
You might be murdered.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So a lot of people got new things. They don't know what to do with their things. They post, I'm putting this out on the sidewalk. You can come collect for free. People have gotten sofas, TVs,
There's people who got washing machines for free.
and it's still in a good
So,
working condition.
what did I get last night that I wasn't even expecting for our generous host because he didn't need it and he isn't using it? I got a brand new set of DJI microphones. These aren't the ones. These are mine, but I got a
Some of
brand
the
new
ones.
set.
Yeah.
So I have another set now. It was generously donated because people, they get things they don't necessarily need it and they're generous and you know, so.
And we've been to a couple of dollar stores, Dollar Tree,
You got Dollar General, Dollar Tree. Used
Yeah.
to have, there was one more, but it's something it's around anymore.
and you can get everything you need to survive from a Dollar Tree for $1.25, $1 or $1.50. Anything you need. You can go to Walmart and pick up sales at ridiculously cheap prices for anything you need. So don't bring things that are utilitarian in nature, except for your undies. Bring vir jou 'n paar onnas en bras and so. But everything else, rather put something
Important to you.
of value that you can one day show your grandchildren. I came over here with 2 suitcases, my dad's guitar that he gifted me, and a couple of photographs. That's it. Starting a new life.
Don't pack your entire closet into the suitcase.
Clothes
You don't
are
need it.
cheap. They
Very
are free
cheap.
at some
And
places.
the people, especially on the refugee program, they give you a lot of clothes. I received 2 black bags full of clothes. I didn't take everything. I took a few things
You
out
can
and
pick what you want.
I donated it back to them, and they circulated it between the ladies in the complex and in the program close to us. So don't bring that jean that has a stain on it because you like it and it's your favorite jean. Just throw it
Get a
out.
better gene in the States. That's where genes come
Well,
from.
and while we're on that topic, you know, people with small children coming over. I mean, this is where Carter's is at in Oshkosh. I mean, and you can get great deals on new clothing from there, and lots of donations. So,
And like
you know,
Ross dress for less.
right, yeah, but you don't need to have tons of stuff for the kids, especially if they're small. I saw a small infant there yesterday, lovely child that was at the event. So let me add two things to the placement. Go back to that very quickly. So in the past, we brought lots of groups of people over here from different countries, different ethnicities, and the floor trekkers amongst them are first to arrive. They don't have a community. But as more numbers arrive, a community develops, and it doesn't have to be a community that's in one location, particularly today with WhatsApp and Zoom and Teams and all these things. You can reach out to people, and then YouTube and social media. So that community grows. And as you mentioned, Lee is helping grow a community here of Afrikaners, but they're not just them. A lot of folks have been helped by the South African ladies who have been here for a long time, sending food baskets and care packages to people around the country, helping those who just arrived. So as the community grows, you get more help. And that's an important thing to remember, because the folks who come before you from different countries, the Somalis, the Congolese, they have an existing community. But people are coming now, and many places are breaking ground. They're the first ones there. But more will come behind you. And my suggestion is that you band together. Whether you like other people or not, you know, you can learn and profit from other people's experiences. And I think that's important. So that's something that that is important to remember. There was a second point I had, but I've forgotten now. If it comes back to me, I'll mention it. But yeah, so guys, it sounds like the right decision.
Absolutely.
No regrets.
No,
No
and
regrets.
as every single thing just falls in place, every step of the way is blessed. It's just a confirmation upon confirmation upon confirmation.
That you made the right choice.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay, well, gosh, we could probably talk all day long.
And I'd
At
like
least-
to do that.
At least the two of us could talk.
They
You know.
can.
Let's take a look here. Whether you're an English speaker or an Afrikaans speaker, you're an Afrikaner, said Joe, Texas. Hey, Joe, how's it going, man? I'm skipping past a bunch of text here. Wow, my chat stopped. I missed the super chat. How did it work with your guitar, Ross? Oh, yeah. Did you bring your guitar?
Yes, I
Yes.
did. It's
Okay.
an heirloom. So I had it in hand luggage. But once again, if you have a courteous, patient, and humble approach to anybody,
To the ticketing agent when you go up to the
Yes.
window, yeah.
if you come there with an arrogant attitude anywhere in life, people will be less willing to try and assist you.
Yep.
But if you really come in a humble way, people are very, very likely to help you above and beyond what is the norm. So I was blessed enough that I was allowed to take mine, not in check-in luggage. I did have a hard flight case to protect it, but it was hand luggage on both flights.
All right, cool. So, I mean, that's a good question, because if people want to bring something like that.
Yeah.
They asked how long you've been here. They've been here since December 18th. They were supposed to be here in
7th
October.
of October.
Yeah. And then they got hit by the shutdown, which meant they couldn't fly. And then mere hours before they were supposed to fly again, after they got rebooked, the raid on Woodmead took place.
Ja, gelofte dag raids.
Yeah, on a Geluftedag, exactly, which was intentional.
Yep.
That was meant
It's
to send a
staged.
message. It was staged. Here's the thing: the South African government, they reported this. They said, "Well, we have intelligence told us where it's at." Intelligence. The U.S. Embassy told you what they were doing and where it was at.
No.
There's no secret.
It's not intelligence if you already had the information.
Exactly.
Given to you.
And the raid. I mean, anyway. So and then they made some mistakes. They detained American diplomats and that's-
doxed them.
and doxed. Yeah, I mean, I
That's
reported
the
that
worst
case.
of it, eh?
I reported that case. It was unbelievable. And so I can't believe they did that. Well, I can't believe they did, but that was stupid. The American government will not forgive that. We've never doxed South African officials. They doxed themselves.
So we started earlier on,
Yeah.
don't give the information regarding your interviews to anyone.
No.
It's no one's business. This refugee program is your business as a family or an individual, and it's yours alone. It has got absolutely nothing to do with anybody else, including your extended family. It's your business. If you're above 18 years old, you make your own decisions, and that's it. And with that, you put yourself and your immediate family and your extended family and some of your friends and even your job at risk. If you go with loudspeaker microphone and broadcast to the world, I'm going for an interview at this gastehuis in Oosmoed. This stupid, moenie dit doen nie.
Yeah.
It's confidential information shared with you in an attempt to save your life, and you go put some other people's lives at
In
risk.
jeopardy,
That is disrespectful and ignorant and stupid. And don't be that way.
And don't post everything on social media.
No, it's your business. Keep it your own.
So from the day that the Woodmead processing lease was signed, I was aware of that site. Did you ever hear me mention before, Geloof the Dog, that there were refugees being screened at Woodmead?
There are real world consequences.
That's right.
To sharing
lives are affected by this. And those people who were supposed to come out didn't fly that day. And that caused all kinds of problems. There's a question. It's David Edwards, I think, from Canada, gave the $5 Canadian super chat earlier. He was just asking about how do we avoid the trap of refugee hotels. Well, we don't do it the same way that the UK does or that Canada does. So our refugees, the federal government allocates a certain amount of money, a few $1,000s to get them over here. The intent is not to put you in a hotel. However, that is frequently the case for the first few days.
Temporary accommodation.
Right, for the first years for many people. But some people roll right into an apartment.
Yep.
It just depends on the housing market. It depends on the location. It depends on the drive and the attitude of the case officers working your case. The CWS sponsored family that went to Tampa that I've been talking about, they're going to be on the program here probably next week. They went straight into, I think they went straight in their apartment, or maybe went to a hotel for a day or something like that. But I've also talked to people who spent a week. But the idea is not keeping a hotel because it dwindles those funds, and those funds are needed to pay for a deposit and the first month's rent, or possibly 2 months if there's enough money there. But with the increase in inflation under the Biden regime era, everything costs twice as much as it did. So all the money is essentially half what it was. It's the same dollar amount, but it's half what it was just 5 years ago because of inflation. So the idea, we don't have hotels that are blocked off. There's no hotel in this country that I'm aware of that's blocked off just for refugees. Yep. So if you had come here to Denton, well, this is next to Denton, it's a little village, but if you came here, this is where they placed you, they might have put you in this hotel with me, just by happenstance, with the gentleman we met earlier.
While they're trying to find you.
Right, but by saying this isn't a refugee hotel.
Yeah,
we don't do that.
Absolutely.
We don't do that. No.
But CWS might have working arrangements with certain.
Right, where they get a discounted rate and things like that. Yeah.
Because it's a thing that's being used intermittently in the long run.
Right.
So with the government shutdown, one of our friends up in New Jersey that we met on our interview day, he just arrived prior to the government shutdown, and they hadn't found him long-term suitable accommodation yet. So they had to keep him in the hotel because they had nowhere else to go with him, because the funding was frozen.
Yeah.
So there are situations that are outside the norm where there's an extended hotel stay, but the plan is to get you into either an apartment or a house as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other plan, of course, is, and this is different for refugees as opposed to someone that comes to the United States that's immigrating here, and it's also different from an asylum seeker, is that refugees are authorized to work immediately. They are treated like a green card holder, which is permanent residency, because that's how we're looking at it. So under the law, there's something you have to have in order to work legally. You have to have a social security number. Of course, to be a human in this country, you have to have a social security number. You can't build a credit history. You can't get a mobile phone normally. You can't get utilities normally without that, and you can't sign a lease normally, because it's not supposed to be how they track you under the law, but that's how it's developed over the centuries since we've had this social security system. So you have to have that, and then technically you have to have an employment authorization document, an EAD. But a refugee is authorized to work from day one. There are some refugees that come over who've been H-2A visa holders in the past, or they've done business in America. They have social security numbers. If they come here, they can go look for a job right now. Now, technically, they don't have a piece of paper that says the EAD. However, they're not going to go to jail if they don't have it, because you're authorized. Someone just hasn't processed your paperwork. There is a little snafu here, which I haven't confirmed entirely, but Mad Max, a couple of those, told me that since January 1st, you cannot apply for a social security number until you've got your EAD paperwork. I haven't confirmed that that's true, but that wasn't the case for you.
No.
But this is a January 1st change.
Okay. So everything changed in 26 now again.
Yeah, potentially. So we don't know. So we're trying to figure out. But the bottom line is, if you have a social security number and you're a refugee, you can start working right away. The paperwork for the EAD will follow at some point. The goal of USCIS is an EAD is issued within 30 days of arrival. That's their plan. But that plans don't always fall. I mean, we didn't plan on a shutdown.
Yeah.
So things happen.
But it's better to have a plan than not have one.
Of course.
But they also say that a plan only lasts until you get hit in the face, and then it's gone.
Well, that's from the army. That's you know the plans. You build a battle plan until good until they cross the line of departure, and then it all goes sideways.
Yes, sir. So a couple of things we spoke about: not to bring useless stuff. Be
So
proactive.
no Julius Malema in your luggage.
No.
It's not.
I'm not talking. You take the trash out. So
Okay,
the trash out. But
Is it funny?
yeah, okay, we'll get to that. Be proactive. Be hopeful. Be humble. Be patient. A lot of guys that come over have a bit of a bad attitude.
Well, some I wouldn't say a lot.
No, sorry, I mean,
Yeah.
there are some people that have a bit of a demanding, lack of patience kind of attitude, and that won't get you far in life anyway.
Anywhere.
So it's just silly that if you are supposed to be thankful that you have just been saved from egregious misconduct against our people and all the minorities in South Africa, you can at least act thankful for it. And I hope of heart that you are thankful for it, because it is a blessing. I mean, it's almost unheard of that a country would come to your country and say, we see you people, we see you as a folk, as a Nazi, as Afrikaners, as Coloreds, as Indians. We see what the ANC and the EFF and their cadres are doing. We know it's not right. We are taking action to help you guys. The least you can do is be thankful. That's kind of, it shouldn't even be a topic of discussion. Another thing I'd like to leave you guys with, I can really go on the whole day.
Well, but they do need to hit the road, so they get down to where it needs to go. It's a long drive before it gets dark, so I will cut them off here shortly.
Ja. Die Vader sal jou nooit beproef meer as wat hy jou in staat gestel het om te hanteer nie. Okay? You will never get tested beyond what you are capable of withstanding and enduring. And only through enduring do you grow. Right? So waiting and limbo is frustrating. It feels like hell some days. Is your why strong enough? Why do you want to come on this program? If it is, you can endure, because jy's tot alles in staat deur hom wat jou krag gee. So, there's a couple of things I could have said. It's very important that as soon as you can and you have your social security, walk to a bank. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they're everywhere. Open a bank account. As soon as you can, open a secured credit card. If you don't have a credit score, you can't buy anything on credit. It doesn't work. They actually told us, but our system says you're ghosts. You don't exist. Yeah, we have been in the States for 5 weeks. We've never had credit. We can't have a credit score. Do you understand what I'm telling you? You don't have one. Build one.
From the beginning.
Build a credit score. Once you have a credit score, you get better interest rates. You don't have to pay astronomical.
And you can borrow more money, larger.
You can really, start building a life again. And we were blessed by Planet Ford of Dallas and Travis Grant and Randy York. Thank you for what you did for us. If any of you, Travis Grant or Randy York, tell them Russ and Letticha sent you Planet Ford of Dallas. They went above and beyond. We had employment authorization documents and bank accounts, and we had opened our our secured credit card. So we were proactive. We did whatever we could within our ability that is required of you. And we managed, with having secured employment, to also get a lease without a credit score. And now we've been blessed enough to be able to have a vehicle to get to work, because things are far apart.
Well, 5 hours is pretty far apart, I'd say.
Far apart. Not all jobs would be
I mean, it's because of who you got hired by, so yeah.
But even just saying you're in a big city like Dallas, yes, there's a public transport system, but it's few and far between.
Yeah, it doesn't get everywhere you need to go.
Uber is hella expensive. So think about your plan, go on ChatGPT, make a plan. How do I build a credit score reliably, consistently, in the US. It's something to get used to. We not used to it because you've got your credit score in South Africa and they do a credit check when you apply for loans and whatnot. But now you come here and you're literally a ghost. You didn't exist until you came here.
Yeah.
It's something to think about and just start making plans. But plans don't always work out. But it's better to at least have thought about it than arriving and now,
if you have a plan, you can adjust fire. On contact with the enemy, life, you can adjust fire.
Yeah.
In military terms. Let me add something on the bank thing. So a lot of things that you experience in South Africa aren't the same in America. When it comes to banking, it's not normal. It hasn't been normal to charge you for checking and banking services. But a lot of South Africans are accustomed to paying for banking services. So when I was in Botswana, we worked to deal with FNB, which is the South African bank that's in Botswana. We worked to deal with FNB because they were trying to encourage financial literacy for children who were victims of either they had HIV and their parents were dead, or they didn't and their parents were gone, so they're orphans. So they ran a program at Stepping Stones, and Stepping Stones was able to convince FNB to waive the essentially $25 a month checking. You had to pay like $25 a month to have a checking account. I mean, in Pula, of course.
That sounds about right.
Right.
With what our banking fees are. Yeah,
I have never paid a penny for a checking account or for a bank account in my life, ever. Do you know why? They have my money and they loan my money out to other people and make money off of it. So why should I pay them to park my money there? And when your money's parked in a bank in America, not Bank of America, but in a bank in America, because of the depression and the bank failures, we have an insurance scheme called FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Every account that you open is protected up to a certain amount. I think currently it's like $250,000. So if the bank goes into receivership and fails, the other banks out of the fund the money there, they pay off the deposits. So your money is protected there. That's nice and reassuring. So you don't have to worry about the bank failing because they're incompetent, because you'll get your money back. But the bank failures come in waves and come and go, but there aren't that many compared to the rest of the world. But you need to go on the internet when you're looking for a bank account, put down where you arrive and ask for banks near me. Get the names of banks that are close to you, maybe in walking distance. You don't have a car.
We have walking distance.
Yeah, walking distance, or one that's within driving distance, or bus transport. Get that. You can open other bank accounts later on, but open that bank account. Once you have the ability to open a bank account, someone lets you do it without a social security number, which is weird, but normally you have to have one. But whatever the case is, open one of those accounts. But before you open it, look at what they charge or don't charge. Some will charge you no check fee if you have direct deposit, which means your salary has to be deposited. But if you don't have a job, you can't do direct deposit with your salary. So if someone's going to tell me they want $10 a month to have a checking account, they're not getting my business. I will go with someone that has it for free. And also, this is important, once you establish a savings account, is that typically savings accounts are, by the government, allows them to limit the number of withdrawals you can make. Otherwise, there'd be runs on banks. So you can make as many deposits as you want. I mean, for a drug deal, if you got money, you can put all the money in there all the time. But you can only take so many withdrawals per month, something like that. So just make sure you put money in your savings account. That's money that you don't anticipate needing. Okay, it's not an ATM. Don't treat your savings as ATM. Treat it as something for the future or emergencies. But do a little research online to find out what the best banking services are. And if there's a library near you, you can go there. There's a magazine called Kiplinger's. Kiplinger's is a business magazine. They do best online bank accounts, best physical bank accounts, and best credit card stuff like that all the time. You can find them in the libraries, public libraries, and you don't even have to buy the magazine. Anyway, so that's a little bit about that. All right. So anything else? And then I'm going to ask her to wrap up.
Parting thoughts. Pack a pair of walking shoes. Want jy gaan 'n bietjie toon klap vir die eerste rukkie tot jy
Not fellies. I wore the fellies yesterday. My feet were tired. So I switched up.
Yeah, so it is an adventure, and it can be the adventure of a lifetime. Every single experience in life is subjective, and the way you experience it is based on your mindset. A problem is also an opportunity. A challenge is also an opportunity to grow. An adventure can also be a nightmare, but a nightmare can also be an adventure. It depends on how you frame it, and keep talking to each other. If you're coming as a family, as a couple, you're going to have each other, and pretty much that'll be it, because you don't have all your mates anymore. You don't have the town you're in a new place. You don't have
your family
around.
Yeah.
But it has been an absolutely blessed adventure thus far, because we choose it that way. and it is your choice. Hou moed, wees nederig, wees vriendelik, wees behulpsaam, bedagsaam, nederig en dankbaar. En vir jou Colonel Wyatt is ons baie dankbaar. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
My pleasure. Letticha, you get the final word. Well, I get the final word, but you get the final refugee word.
I just want to add on to say that this is your chance and your opportunity to start a new life. Learn from your mistakes in the past. Do better, make better choices, and enjoy it.
In safety.
Enjoy it in safety, make new friends, go to Walmart, just start
Go to
talking
Walmart,
to people. Just start talking to people and figure out how people do stuff here. And you're really going to enjoy it. I haven't heard of anybody who hasn't enjoyed it here. And you're always going to make new friends. We've met amazing people yesterday and we've exchanged numbers, and I'm sure there's going to be a Bryce soon.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be another one. We had
Sir.
Nicklin. Yes, I didn't get any food.
Really?
No, I was busy making sure everybody was taken care of and kept checking the camera because it kept freezing and walking around and talking to people, and all the food was gone. And I didn't say anything, but somebody was watching. They noticed that I didn't have food. So they brought me a cup of boerewors a little bit later on. And then the Lily was supposed to bring a bride cookie.
Because you told me go eat before you start singing.
Yeah.
I thought you'd already ate by that time.
No, okay. So this is a trait amongst leaders.
Eat last.
Yeah, you eat after all the troops eat. And if you go without, then you go without. That's kind of the philosophy. So that's
a testament to what you are, sir.
Yeah. But then your people take care of you, and the Wyatt Army took care of me last night, because not only did I get to eat some boerewors.
Baie lekker boerewors van Angus in Houston. Beautiful boerewors.
They were fantastic. There was no bread though, so it was all gone. So I didn't get that. But after that was over, Lily was supposed to bring a bride brookie for me, but she forgot it. Not to pick on her, but someone heard that, and I didn't mention it. So they made bride brookies fresh that evening, and mine didn't have the corner cut out, but it was without onions, and it was fantastic. It was the best. I got to say, it was the best bride brookie I ever had, and I've had plenty of them without onions. And then also I was brought slices of meat, and the meat was incredible. So I got to enjoy that last night.
Hoe lekker was daai klein malva pudding?
I didn't get the malva pudding. People kept pushing it on me, but I'm not a fan.
You're missing out.
So good.
Yeah. And she's the one that said you'll learn how to eat properly, because that's how that happens here too. So keep that in mind. Yeah, okay, but no, thanks. Were you finished, or do you have something else?
You have to remember, most of the South Africans that were there yesterday didn't have a proper boerewors roll in a very long time.
Yeah.
True, that's a fair point. So that's why they all disappeared in 5 minutes. No, but I mean, it's look.
Like
I mean,
Christmas.
what kind of look is that for the person who's leading the charge to rush over and be the first in line at the braai and grab everything?
No.
It's
respect for the way you handle yourself.
It's not proper. I mean, I don't judge other people for it. Well, maybe I do, but in silence. But no, it's so it's just part of it. All right, so look, these guys have been fantastic with their time. They've got a long drive ahead of them today. I myself have a short drive, about a half hour down to where I'm headed after a Starbucks call. And then I ate earlier, but I'm already starving, so didn't take long.
I can go for another one of those boerewors rolls.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's any left. There weren't even a dog looking for scraps last night. There was people looking for. There was nothing. But no, it all went, and it was a fantastic experience. And I got to meet them in person. And one of the reasons for coming down here to do the meet and greet is to meet with people and see their experiences, hear their stories. And if we have the opportunity to do live interviews like this or recorded ones, that's all the better. So I want to thank both of you for that. Bye, Donkey. I will be going to the next location, which I've intentionally put within, stone's throw distance of where the other cluster refugees are at. And for the folks who couldn't make it yesterday, they will be able to come visit me at the hotel if they like. I'm not going to intrude in their homes if they don't want me to come over there. I'll drive by and look at where they're staying, but they are welcome to come over. I'm there the rest of the day today, and I will be there tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I'm facilitating an interview with Anthony, the Color family that's in South Dakota, because another media outlet suddenly wants to talk to them. And in order to protect their equities, I host the Zoom session. But, I liked something that you said there, Russ, and that was specifically, I liked everything you guys said, but one you just said a moment ago about I'll rephrase it. So, yeah, but a disaster, a challenge is an opportunity. And the perfect example is that even in the worst of times, somebody profits in one way or another, either personally, financially, or fame or whatever. During the lockdown, look at all these companies that became incredibly wealthy. Look at how delivery services made a fortune, like DHL and FedEx and UPS, and then on top of that, Amazon. And then look at things like Zoom. Almost nobody ever heard of Zoom before. Zoom became huge because of lockdown. So a disaster or a bad situation always presents an opportunity. And if you look at life like that, if you look at this, look, I'm giving up my family. I'm leaving my home. My people have been in the Transvaal, in the West Transvaal for 220 years. We fought with the Tswana against Ndebele, against Nzilikazi. We chased him into Zimbabwe, and we've lived peace with our neighbors. I can't imagine giving that up and going, just going somewhere else. I'm losing all this. Yes, but you haven't lost it. It's part of who you are. It's your heritage. You can inculcate that in your children. And if things improve, you can always go back. And even so, if not, you become an American at some point, then piss on it. You got an American passport and you can go there anytime you want. And beyond that, think of it as an opportunity. You're losing something, but you have the chance to gain the world. I mean,
everything to gain.
I have lived in 16 foreign countries. I've worked in about 50 countries, and I've been to about 80 foreign countries in the world. And from every experience, the 26 times while I was in the Army, I moved from one place to another. It was always challenging. Now, we had a support system the way the Army does it, and they pay. I don't have to pay to ship my stuff, and I can take more than a suitcase, although some assignments were very little. But the point is that despite that, there are still challenges. But I looked at every time when I went to a broken place like Liberia as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and experience things. And if you treat it that way, coming to America, even if there are setbacks, even if maybe you have a hard time finding a job because maybe you don't have the skills, because you don't have the experience, maybe you're a 22-year-old who hasn't done much in life. But if you look at it as an opportunity, as Ross said, flip that script around. Don't obsess. Don't moor yourself over what's not right. Think about what can be right, and take every opportunity as a chance to improve well, in the military we say improve your position. So an infantryman, you engage the enemy, you can't advance any further. In this case, life is the enemy. You stop, you don't just sit there, you start digging a foxhole. You start putting, barriers up around you so you're protected from bullets and artillery. You improve your position. Get here, improve your position. That might mean you stay where you're at right now, or maybe like this family, you moved to Nevada because you're offered a job on a farm. Or like the refugees I interviewed last year in the 59ers who went to Iowa, which is perfectly lovely, and they moved to Kentucky. Why? Because both of them were offered jobs as managers on a poultry farm. Improve your position. All right, so thank you all. If I missed any super chats, my humble apologies. I may have missed a few. If you had questions, you feel free. How old is Roz? 75, and she's 14.
Yes.
34.
34, okay. She's at least 27, maybe a little bit older than that. I don't know. All right, so they're a young couple. But she's younger than apartheid.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's a born free, and he's a nearly born free.
I was born when Mandela was released,
Yeah, so he's a nearly born free, and she's a born free, and yet they're being persecuted for something that happened in the past. So anyway, thank you all for being here. Apologies if I missed the super chats. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. We went for 2 hours. And I have a feeling that Ross and I, if we had a couple beers, would go for 12 hours.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Yeah. But he's got to drive, or maybe she's driving.
Absolutely lovely guy.
Well, thank you very much for that.
Last night went on about past 1 in the morning.
Yeah, last night was pretty late. Yeah. Well, we were pretty late before we left our host, and then I came back here and I was on until almost 2 in the morning. Yeah. So no, but thank you all so much. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you profit from this conversation in some way that helps you out. And with that, we're going to wrap it up here from north of Dallas. They're getting on the road, and they have a long journey. I have a short journey. In fact, I probably won't even finish my Frappuccino by the time I arrive at my hotel. Anyway, guys, you want to say goodbye?
Nou, ons sien uit om julle te sien vir 'n braai hierso in Texas. Sterkte met die program. Hou moed, hou hoop, bly op jou knieë, bly nederig.
#USA.
All right. Cheers, everybody.